I think it's going. I think it's there. We go. Now it's saying it's going. Now it's saying that YouTube is finally working. Oh my gosh!
So is it live on YouTube at the
It
same
is
time?
live on YouTube. It is. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Kick. We are live on Twitch. We are live everywhere that we could
Oh my
possibly be
goodness.
live. That's not true. We're not on like Instagram or TikTok or
I was gonna say you're on TikTok.
Facebook, but I'm on TikTok, but this show isn't live on there because it's a pain in the ass getting a stream code. What is it called? The little
Yeah.
thing, so that you can
Hmm.
do it from like an OBS without using their program. So they
Yeah.
just lose out on content. That's all.
I did stream on TikTok a little while, but I got banned from TikTok twice.
For what? Oh, I have a
You're not
feeling.
allowed you're not allowed to vape on TikTok or smoke, no tobacco use whatsoever. So you're not allowed to vape on screen, which I didn't know about, and no sexual content. So no talking about sex, no like heavy swearing all the time, nothing. You get
Man, we
flagged
should have
straight
just
away.
had a topic called sex just for TikTok.
Yeah. There you go, yeah. They banned it literally from just talking about sex. They said it was 218 for their platform.
Wow. That's the Chinese government for you. Conspiracies.
Hmm.
Like we want them to have sex and not know the repercussions. No
Yeah,
education.
I don't understand why you can't vape or smoke on your lives and stuff when there's so much worse stuff on TikTok videos.
There is so many worse. It's alive. It is alive. Lyric. So, guys, we have some amazing topics for you tonight on the show with the one and only Death Joker. We're going to be talking favorite foods, some of our favorite foods, and variations of that. Maybe favorite drinks, favorite things to cook, favorite things to go out to eat, whatever. So, you guys can come and join us and talk about that. I know Lyric Lost loves talking about food and cooking and stuff like that. We're also going to talk about the Twitch YouTube connection and kind of like doing content on Twitch, doing content on YouTube, doing things back and forth, both of our strategies for that, kind of how that works, what our thoughts are on the different platforms, not just Twitch and YouTube, but maybe some of the other ones as well. So we'll chat a little bit about that. And of course, we couldn't have this show, we couldn't have Death Joker on if we didn't talk about Dead by Daylight. So I think we're going to talk a little DBD, Dibidibs. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, the dubba
The Dibidas. So
a little bit about the dubbadas.
So we'll do a little Debidas chatting, and of course, at the end we've got potluck. So where that's just like we're gonna talk about whatever we want. So if we want to talk about sex on TikTok, we can do it during the potluck. I mean, we can do it on other spots too, but not necessarily. And of course, after we do our second one, we will have a break after the Twitch YouTube connection topic before we do Dead by Daylight. So we will take a little break at that point and use the restroom and stretch and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that being said, welcome on in everybody, and feel free to make sure to go and give Death Joker a follow. You can just on the title screen, it has his name. You can just click on that. Go make sure to give him a follow. Make sure to join him tomorrow for his birthday stream. I'm sure there's going to be lots of shenanigans and lots of drinking happening over there. Speaking of drinks, you're not having them tonight because you need to prepare. So I'm going to drink for both of us. Cheers.
Cheers. I've only got a little Dr. P, that's it.
It's all right. The doctor can pee all
Why
they
is the
want.
rum
Why is the rum
always
gone? Why is the rum gone, Sunstrider? Why
Yeah,
is
not
the rum
sponsored by
not
no
sponsored?
Dr. P.
I would love to be sponsored by the doctor of
imagine.
the pee. I'd love to be sponsored by a rum brand. If
Oh yeah.
as much as I hate and as much as I rag on Captain Morgan, don't get me wrong, if they called me up and they're like, hey, we want to sponsor your stream, but you have to drink it on stream, I'd be like, how much we talking?
Yeah. I said the same with Smirnoff vodka. Said, just give me the amount of bottles. However much I've got to drink and however many times I've got to say it's the best vodka, just let me know.
Yeah, right? Captain Morgan would be a terrific sponsor. I don't know about that. But that being said, whether it's Captain Morgan or whether it's vodka or Smirnoff, one thing that goes with all alcohol, and that's food.
Yo.
Okay. So what's your go-to like when you've been drinking? When you've been drinking and hangover food, what do you have like a favorite for those?
It normally goes from what we talk about on the stream. I normally end up with a craving based on whatever we're chatting about on stream. The other day, I had a mad craving for fish. We were talking about fish and chips and cod for most of the night and making jokes and stuff about it. So I just really had a craving for a piece of fish when I finished. So trying to do that while I'm drunk is a bit of a nightmare.
You like batter it and deep fry it?
Oh no, I'm not doing all that myself. That's way too much effort.
You just take it out of the freezer, throw it in the microwave,
Yeah,
call it
straight out of the freezer. Yeah, in the oven, job done. I ain't got that kind of effort.
Do you do a lot of cooking?
I used to. I used to be a chef once upon a time. Like 10 years ago, I was a chef in an Indian restaurant for like 4 years.
Wow. How much practice and training did you have to get for that?
I done 3 years at college.
Okay.
Doing hospitality and catering. So you had to do like, there was 3 different sides to it. You done like a cooking side, and then you did a dessert side, and then you had to do a front of house, so like being a waiter. So you had to be a waiter for 6 months and learn how to silver serve with like I don't know if you know what silver service is, like with a fork and spoon. So you serve all the vegetables table side with a fork and a spoon, picking them up. It's an absolute nightmare.
I was gonna say table side. I understand table side, but like you might as well just be dropping grapes in their mouth for them.
It is, yeah, that's literally what it was. You had to learn how to go like over their left shoulder, I believe it was, how to fold napkins to look like a crown and all this rubbish. It was horrible. I hated doing the silver service side.
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite?
I don't really talk about it much because I only done it for a little while. I only done it for like 4 years and then got bored of it. It's too much stress in kitchens, too many people screaming and throwing things around.
Right. Did you have to manage like the ordering of the food and stuff like that, or like were you were you the head chef, or were you just one of the chefs?
No, I was. There's loads of different ranks. Like there's like a commie chef at the bottom, and then a junior chef de partie, senior chef de partie, sous chef, and then head chef. And I was a chef de partie. So when none of the others were there, I was in charge. But most of the time, there was a senior there or a head chef.
Okay. Were you hoping to like work your way up or what?
I was, but I was too young. Like I was working my way up there, but I was only like 20. And then one day I just got angry and walked out and never went back. I just literally walked out of the job and said, yeah, I'm done, and just left.
Crazy.
So it was because I was just stupid at the time. I was young and dumb, didn't have any bills, living at home. So money didn't really mean anything.
Redneck Jetty wants to know, does no one have a rat under their hat controlling them?
No, that's just you. They always used to give me shit for my hat as well, because I always used to take my hat off. I hated it, like pushing down my hair. So yeah, I used to get in trouble for that a lot.
Oh,
the executive chef would always come through and have a go at us. You had to be clean shaven as well. So I had to shave every single day, which I hated.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
So as soon as I left cooking, I grew my beard.
What is something you learned in that, something you learned to cook that's like something you still really enjoy cooking that you learned how to do there?
Probably curries and stuff. I know how to cook naan breads, but I just don't have the right equipment for it to make the same that we made in the restaurant. Yeah. But like mainly curry stuff, I would happily make myself from scratch and eat. It tastes so much better than store bought curries.
Yeah. Do you do like,
it just makes you more
like
picky,
mortar and pestle it, or like curry powder?
Oh no, no, I'd buy all like the seasons and stuff from the store.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were taking like the fresh ingredients and grinding them up in a mortar and pestle to make the paste.
Oh god, no, that's way too long.
Because I've heard that's the best, that you grabbing those instead of using the like pre-bought dried seasonings, using like fresh product to make the paste was freaking.
We've actually done that today. We got some lamb we were making for the morning. We're gonna start cooking at like 3 a.m. Yeah, we've marinated it yesterday, so it's going to be sitting in the fridge for like 24 hours, all in the paste and everything. We've got a nice coat on it.
Okay.
So that's for tomorrow. As soon as we finish here, we're gonna go and start cooking.
Nice. Nightmare Sphinx says, I've never had curry, but would love to try it. I think it depends on your spice level too, right? Whether how you want to make your curry depends on how spicy you can take it.
Yeah, exactly. You can do like real mild curries, and then you can do real hot curries as well. So it's all right for anyone. Like my girlfriend hates Indian spices. She really doesn't like the taste of anything. So I only eat curry and make curry when she's away.
Okay.
So if she's away or
what about Thai curries?
Yeah, they're okay. Thai curries are all right.
But mostly
just a very different flavor.
Well, and in the UK, curry is like a big thing to eat there, right? That's a normal, like for us, like obviously Americans, hamburgers and hot dogs, and I mean we have other things too, but there's categories of like ethnic food, and Indian and Thai is a category, whereas that's like just a mainstay over in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's Indian restaurants and Chinese restaurants very common in most areas. So yeah, it's very common to eat curries and stuff like that.
Okay. Lyric says yellow curry is one of our favorite meals, yellow coconut curry.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, like a korma that's made with like a coconut and mango and stuff like that. It's quite nice.
Nice. Yeah, I prefer the Thai curries personally. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I like the red Thai curries, but I do
Oh, they're
enjoy
hot.
a
Yeah.
good yellow or green Indian curry is also
Hmm.
very good. But we just can't ever master that because we go with the spices. If we every time we try and buy like a pre-bought paste, it's just garbage and we have to doctor it
Yeah.
up. So it's like,
Hmm.
oh gosh. And we have a store not too far from us that has fresh ingredients. So I'm still in the mindset of one day I want to pull out the mortar and pestle and try it that process, but that's a
Yeah.
pain in the ass.
It shouldn't take too long. Like to make a decent curry from scratch, it would probably take you like an hour, 2 hours to like make a good one from scratch if you're going to cook it all out properly,
Yeah.
and not just throw it together. So it's not too bad.
That's not too bad. That doesn't take me like we've done more for less. We
Yeah.
wasted more time making something than that. So
Oh, I think the most time I've thought was just pure wasted was pigeon, which we done in college.
yeah,
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 we they brought them all in. They brought like 10 pigeons, and you had to like pluck them, skin them, and everything to learn how to do like butchery in college.
yeah.
And you spend probably about 40 minutes to get a breast that's this big, tiny little breast that's like 2 inches, and
Isn't
that's
that like
it.
a delicacy though? Supposed to be?
It didn't taste it. It was dry and tough, yeah, but it was really gamey. It was really tough.
Yeah. But isn't there what's the term for pigeon? There's like a specific word for eating pigeon like that. I
Um,
don't remember what it
yeah, I
is.
can't remember what it was actually. I'm pretty sure. I think you're right. I remember seeing it on Hell's Kitchen like a month ago or a week ago.
Yeah, they have a
Yeah, I
special
remember
name.
them
Maybe
saying they were
Lyric
cooking
knows. Maybe
pigeon. It was
Lyric
like,
can look it
is
up.
it fowl?
Lyric
Is it
says they
fowl?
just
No.
served some curry. He had curry before. He liked it. Also tikka masala, good
Yeah,
tikka masala, and butter chicken.
yeah,
Thai
yeah.
curry tends to be a bit sweet for our taste, at least the local restaurants. But the Thai grad students made green curry all the time, and it wasn't so sweet, but it was very good. I do like eating a Veduvian curry powder pre-done. Good flavor. There you go.
No.
Ostrich is really gamey too, but it's bigger than a pigeon breast.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth all the effort. You spend like an hour preparing this pigeon for a tiny little. It's horrible. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Did you have to do the things where you get like this plate and it's like got one little thing on there and a little garnish and that's it, and you have to serve them like 30 of different ones of those?
We done a little bit of fine dining, not much. We I think it was 3 months that we had to do fine dining for, and it was stuff like that,
And you're just like,
like slicing things so thin that you can see through it.
that's crazy. Redonkadonk.
Yeah, it's not what I want. If I go out to a restaurant, I want a big fat steak, a couple of beers, job done.
Yeah.
I prefer hearty whole meals, just bulked out. I don't really like the whole refined
What's
thing.
something you grew up with that is like something that maybe a parent or a grandparent made that you still to this day it's like I wish I had that recipe, or I have that recipe and I make it all the time.
It's probably like roast dinners. That's like the main British thing. Every Sunday you would have a Sunday roast. The family would get together, and you'd have a big joint of meat, whether it's beef, pork, lamb sometimes, which is pretty much what my birthday meal is. Since I moved out, we've not cooked a roast dinner because it's not really like a two-person thing. It's
Right.
a lot of effort for just two people.
Yeah.
So that's what we're having for a birthday dinner is pretty much roast lamb and all
Nice.
the trimmings.
How much is lamb out there? Is it cheaper out there than it probably might be over? I don't know if you know,
Um,
but
yeah, so I don't know what the price is for you guys. For us, it's seven. I think it was 750 a kilo,
okay,
so about $10 a kilo. I
okay,
don't know what that would be to you.
yeah, I don't know. Is that
Yeah,
considered? Let me rephrase. Is that considered an expensive protein over there?
yeah, it's quite expensive.
Okay.
It'd be more expensive than like beef and pork.
Yeah,
It's more on
I
the
love
pricier
lamb
side.
chops. I love
Yeah,
lamb chops, but it's one of the few proteins I've never cooked. I've never cooked lamb
yeah,
in my life, and that's one of the things I was like, I want to cook that. I want to cook lamb. I want to give some chops a try, but I know you can fuck it up, and if you fuck it up, you might be ruining it. So I was like,
Yeah, you're only really going to screw it up if you go over. Like I was going to say, lamb's very forgiving. Like it's one of those that you can go under a little bit and you're not going to get poisoned. Whereas,
yeah,
you know, chicken's got to be on.
yeah, chicken and
But
pork
like
are
beef
both.
and lamb are very forgiving meats. If you go over a little bit, it doesn't really matter. If you go under a little bit, it doesn't really matter. You know, you only really fuck the meat if you go too far over. Then it's really dry and tough.
Right. Hello, Miso. Welcome on in. Canaboo Woo is in here and says, "Happy birthday, DJ!" Big capital letters.
Woo!
Happy birthday.
I'm getting old.
Getting younger by the day. Getting younger by the day.
What about you? What sort of foods do you like? Do you like more burgers or like more refined food or like?
So I do like me a burger, but I'm very specific about some of the stuff on it. And it's difficult because being a celiac and having to be gluten free, I can't have certain foods the way I want them. So very rarely do I find a bun that's gluten free and good. You know, you take a bite and the whole thing just falls apart. It's like, what the fuck is this? Yep. You know. So yeah, I do like me some, you know, I like a good steak. I like all the classic stuff. But I grew up, my mom lived in Denver, Colorado.
Why
and
is
there's
the rum always
why is the rum gone? But my mom grew up in Denver, and there's a huge following, a huge community of Mexican people there, and a lot of authentic Mexican restaurants there.
I wish I could eat more burritos. There's not enough Mexican restaurants around here. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you've probably got to go about 30, 40 miles for me to find a Mexican restaurant.
Oh
Maybe
man,
50
that's not too
miles.
far. That's not too far.
Yeah, 50 miles.
I mean, that's far for you guys, but for us over here, where it's like, you know, you you stay in the same state, and that's like a 500-mile drive. But yeah, my mom was a chef, and so she worked at a lot of those places. So I grew up with a lot of Mexican food. So that is a go-to meal for me. Like I can whip out tacos like nobody's business. And I worked at a place a couple of years ago. You know, I'd bring in lunch to eat lunch or whatever, and I just bring in leftover taco stuff. And the Mexican people that are from Mexico would come in, and they'd be like, "You put that in your tacos? Are you from Mexico?" Like they'd see what I'm putting in there, and they like what I make is authentic. And they, you know, usually people are like, "Oh, they'll just grab some beef and, you know, they'll grab the packet of taco seasoning and put it in there, and that's their taco mix." And I'm like, no.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's like everyday eating in your household? Like each household has like a routine, like a sit down meal and a certain type of meal, whether it's like meat and vegetables, or what's like a normal average.
My breakfast is always the same. My breakfast is always like 2 eggs, toast, potatoes, or hash browns of some variety. Sometimes I don't have the potatoes. I'll change up how I make my eggs depending on my mood. Lately we've been making a lot of sourdough bread, homemade sourdough bread from scratch. So nice. I'll do sourdough bread, and then I'll make like not quite an omelet. It'll be like an open-faced sandwich with like cheese, and I'll put some like Parmesan or something on the top of it to melt on top of the eggs. And there's definitely a trick to making a good scrambled egg. Not necessarily a scrambled egg, but like an omelet sort of egg, because it's not, a lot of people just they mix it. Some of them put milk in it, and I'm like, just do some olive oil or some melted butter, almost like you're making mayonnaise, right? And then you cook that, and it just gives a good texture and a good flavor. So that's kind of the go-to.
Color as well.
Yeah,
it was like an orangey color. It's a nice color.
But as far as like regular meals, like dinner, lunches, when we have time to like have a sit down meal, yeah, oftentimes it's we change it up a lot. It's oftentimes me going and looking through the kitchen, because I do most of the cooking in the house. It's me going through the kitchen going, okay, what do we have and what will work together? Lately, last year before, the sister-in-law got us a wok, and I was so excited. So I make a lot of like fried rice and like stir fry. I make a lot of that stuff because now we have a place called Costco, so we get a bag of frozen stir fried vegetables that's the size of a small dog. Maybe a medium dog. So like we always have stir fry vegetables, and then all we have to do is cook up some rice, let it cool off. Usually we freeze it, and so we make a lot of stir fry, a lot of that kind of stuff. But we do a lot of crock pot meals, you know, planning for the week. So we'll throw, you know, a pork in the crock pot, and we'll make like a pulled pork or a, you know, barbecue pulled pork or a spiced pulled pork or a you know, a spiced chicken or a, you know, barbecued chicken or something along those lines. That's pretty standard for cooking in this household. Is what do we have? What can we make? What we have time for? All right.
So do you have kids?
I do not have kids. Not unless you
No?
count a dog. I do not.
Right, okay. So it's you and your partner that's
Correct.
you make a meals for each other.
Yeah,
right,
so
okay.
it's just the two of us, but we have people over a lot too.
Yeah.
I like to host. So every Christmas, I have a holiday gathering of all of our friends. So we get anywhere from 15 to 30 people will gather at our house, and every year for 25 years now, I've made a turkey and stuffing, and then other people will bring other parts of the meal. And I think the last 2 years, we changed that up, and we made. My wife would make a red sauce. She makes a really good spaghetti red sauce, and then
Nice.
I make homemade Alfredo sauce from scratch. And a lot of people don't understand how to make. They buy it in a jar. Alfredo. It's like,
Yep.
but if you go to a restaurant, like a good restaurant, and they have homemade Alfredo, you can tell the difference. And I have
for sure.
I have some really good recipes. And I have one in particular that I just really enjoy using to make homemade Alfredo. And sometimes, if it's just me and my wife and I'm making Alfredo, I don't even look up the recipe. I just eyeball it.
Yeah.
Because it's fairly simple. So if you're not
Yeah.
making it for a bunch of people, you can eyeball and be like, all right, that's about right. That's about right. And I have a pretty good palate, so I can tell, oh, it needs more of this, it needs more of that, or whatever. So
Yeah, I've absolutely destroyed my palate over the years from smoking.
oh,
I'd smoked for a very long time, probably since I think I started when I was about 14 and then stopped when I was 28. So, and I only stopped because I was smoking a hell of a lot. I was smoking like 60 cigarettes a day.
oh man.
So yeah, I was like, okay, this is costing way too much money now. I need to stop. You couldn't walk up the stairs without coughing. So
Yeah.
I stopped smoking, traded off to vaping, and I've been vaping for like 3 years now. But it's got no nicotine in it anymore. So
Yeah. Are you going to slowly wean off the vaping as well?
yeah, we're gonna get off the vaping eventually.
Okay.
I just wanted to get off
Well, good
the
for you.
nicotine first.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it took a while, but years and years of people telling me to stop. I was like, I'll stop when I stop.
Yeah.
But eventually, it was just too much money. It was costing me like £250 a month. So you're spending £3,000 a year.
Right.
What's that? Like $4,000,
That's a lot.
$3,500?
I don't know math. I'm
it's
the
a
worst
big
at
waste.
math. I'd be like,
I have no idea what the conversion is anymore.
yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive over here, and we have so many tariffs and taxes on cigarettes over here
Yeah.
that I'm glad my mom was a chain smoker, and it really turned me off to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do that. So thank goodness that she was a really heavy smoker. But did that harm your schooling for food? Because like if you can't taste shit properly, doesn't that make it kind of difficult?
Not too bad. They're not really as strict as like you would see on TV and stuff, just for regular schools and stuff like that. They don't really care too much about your palate, just as long as it tastes okay. So you've still got taste and everything. It's just really, you couldn't do like a blind test, so if someone put food in front of you and blindfolded, you'd never know. Like your taste isn't really locked on, but you still know the taste of things.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Lyric says the Mexican place at the bottom of our hill makes mojitos worthy of yours, Epic. Do you make cocktails too?
No, I get Bubbles, my partner, to make the cocktails. She loves making cocktails, so I just leave it to her. She's got a whole little bar stand over there with all of her cocktail stuff.
Nice. Was she educated in it at all, or just does it because she loves it?
Self-taught, yeah. Just from TikTok and stuff. There's so many tutorial videos out there now for everything. So it's the same with the dinner tonight. She hasn't got a clue how to cook lamb and honey roasted vegetables and stuff. It's just coming off a YouTube video.
And she's not gonna have you do it because it's your birthday, not.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be way too wasted. So she'll have to do that. I'll be like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Redneck Jedi says, I've always hated the smell of cigarettes.
Yeah, I do now. Now I can really smell it.
Do you get the thing? Are you still at the same place you were when you stopped smoking?
No, we moved 4, 5, 6 months ago, I think.
Because going into a place where there's somebody smoking that much and it's just the walls, like you can smell it off the walls, and
it tinges the walls as well.
Yeah,
like it discolors the walls.
I had a place that I lived when I lived with my family, and my aunt lived in this house for this one house for like 10, 15 years, and she was a chain smoker. She moved out, we moved in. My mom was a chain smoker, and like we like scrubbed the walls because they were just so much nicotine. We scrubbed them and then repainted over them. And like you would go into the bathroom and you take like a nice long hot shower, and like the nicotine would come through the wall, would sweat out of the wall and start running down the brand new fresh coats of paint. It's like, that is disgusting.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I mean, the place where I used to smoke, we had a little what we'd call the back place. It's like attached to the house, like a conservatory kind of thing, but brick. So it's really cold in there, and that's where I used to sit to smoke. And you don't notice until you stop smoking how bad the walls were. You could probably literally like get a ruler and scrape the wall. It's disgusting. Because everyone would sit in there. Anyone that smoked would go in the conservatory, and you'd have no doors, no windows, and you'd be smoking in this room. So the ceiling, the walls were disgusting.
Oh, that's gross. Ugh.
Yeah, whereas now, if I ever go back to that house, it stinks. Like, I just won't go to that room. It absolutely stinks in there.
Yeah. And now, do you look back and go, man, I was putting that stuff inside of me. Like, the stuff that's on that walls is coating the inside of my body.
Yeah, it's bad. And now I just coat it with vape juice instead.
Yeah, there you go. Crystallize those lungs. I don't really know the medical background of the vaping stuff. I've just read horror stories that are probably false. Probably false.
To be fair, me and Bubbles were having that conversation probably about an hour ago. We were saying about the only thing that they say it causes is popcorn lung, like it swells your lungs and stuff. But I say anything other than air that goes into your body is bad for you. You know it's bad for you. So
yeah,
you know what harm it's doing, and there's nothing that you can inhale that's going to be good for you.
No.
But there's not been enough.
I bet carbon dioxide is really good for you. Let's all start moving to that.
Yeah.
Oh, so when we were talking about this, I sent you a message, and I was like, "What kind of topics do you want to do?" And you're like, "I don't know. You know, it can be whatever." And part of me, I don't know if you saw when I sent you the response today or yesterday when I said, "Here's the list of topics." Did you read what I started with?
Yeah, I said it to Bubbles, and she was like, "Oh, I'll do the podcast." She said, "I can talk about all them things." I was like, "I'll talk about none of them things."
I was like, I'm going to be a smartass. I'm going to be like, these are going to be the topics, since we were kind of vague and didn't really. Well, I'm like, we're going to talk about needlepoint and underwater basket weaving. And I was like, no, that's not what we're going to do. Here's what an actual lineup. Are these topics okay with you? And you're like, yeah, sure.
I mean, I'd listen. If you brought an expert in, we'll talk about some needlepoint and stuff. I'd listen. I can't contribute much, but I'll listen.
So there's a note. If anybody's listening and I invite you on, make sure we have a conversation, because I'll troll the hell out of you. And I knew. Here's the thing. I knew that you would get a kick out of that, and you'd probably get a chuckle. So. But one thing that totally made sense, because not everybody does, as far as all the streamers go, not a lot of people really that we've had on really flex that ability to be modular and be on multiple platforms. Like, there might be a YouTube video here and there. There might be a VOD or a clip on TikTok, something like that. But you've really gone all in and spent hours doing editing and stuff for YouTube for your 1v1 series.
Yeah, I did for a while. It's a hard one, because I went through a stage where I was uploading to YouTube every day, probably 3 years ago. And then I found the requirements were too hard to get monetized. So like you had to have, I think it was 1,000 hours of watch time in like 6 months at the time. I think it was like, no, it was 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time that you needed in 6 months. And I just couldn't keep up with that with those videos. So I kind of gave up. And then I played around a little bit with Kick, played a little around with YouTube streaming. Like I've been on and off quite a lot, but the 1v1 series, I was uploading every single day for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, that took a long time in editing. So I've never edited videos before. So I had to find editing software, I had to learn how to use the software. So I just done the absolute basics just to be able to get through making a video.
Did you enjoy the process? Maybe not the amount of time you put into it, but did you enjoy the process of learning all that?
Yeah, I enjoyed learning it. It got boring quite quickly with like making the videos,
Yeah.
but so I'd sit there and just make like 7, 8 videos in one session, and then that would be ready for the whole week, and then I would just get them scheduled to upload because it takes so much time. It was taking me 3 or 4 hours to edit, and after you've done, an 8 to 12 hour stream, you really don't want to sit in the same chair for another 3 hours and edit videos.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's very hard with a busy life to like fit the time in for making the videos.
Did that work out though in the long run? Did you get people coming in for the 1v1 series and people coming in to watch those videos and come in to participate in your YouTube channel? Did that process actually benefit you?
Yeah, it worked out well. We managed to get monetized after like 4 months, I think it was. I think we went over the 1,000, and we were at like 5,000 hours watch time or something within like the first 2 months, 3 months of starting to upload again. So it went quite quickly. I just need to figure out where I'm going from there
Yeah.
because we're not doing a season 2 at the moment. So I don't really know what I can upload to YouTube.
Yeah,
It's difficult
just
to
little
figure
clips
out
from your
video
just little
ideas.
clips from your regular stream, probably, right?
Yeah,
Or
it's
take
hard. It's hard to figure out ideas because obviously now we're monetized. We get paid a certain amount by viewage, so we need to have at least an 8 to 10 minute video to upload it. So
yeah.
I have no idea what to
Do
upload. It's
you
one of
do you
those.
have your when you're streaming live? Do you have that go live as well on YouTube?
I did for a while, but it seemed to keep crashing my computer. I wasn't sure why.
Were you using a third-party app?
No, I was using. I was doing it all for Streamlabs, so I was streaming Twitch and YouTube at the same time.
Okay.
But
I
I'm
was
not
curious
sure
because I
why
know a lot
it
of
kept
people
crashing.
use that it's like a co-stream thing where you like sign into it and then it like goes to that and then it goes out to the whatever. So I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of it, but everybody I know they tried using one of those. It's like they just get the massive lags and the massive, shutdowns and dropping frames and all that kind of stuff. And I tried it and I got the same thing until later when I found an add-on for OBS Studios that just does it and it doesn't take anything away from your PC. It doesn't like drop it. And I was like, man, this has been working great. So I was kind of curious how you were doing that and if you were planning on doing.
I'm definitely planning on doing it. I'm not sure about the Kick side. Maybe we'll incorporate Kick as well. I streamed over on Kick 3 times, but most of the people from the community really didn't like using the app. It kept crashing, but this was like 7 months ago, so maybe it will be more updated now. But then they would type a message and have to type it like 4 times to get it to send through. It was just a nightmare on the chat side. So nobody wanted me to move to Kick, so we just cut that off.
Yeah, I know I do Kick as well, but I do like all of them. I do Kick, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. Because for me, now that I got this thing set up, it's like, well, it doesn't take anything away from me to do it. So it's like I might as well. I have no reasons personally not to at this point because I can do all of them at the same time. So there's no downside. Other than the fact that, Kick has a lot less ways of having security for people coming in and be like, buy this and do that, and hey, send me a message on Discord. No, F you, I'm not going to send you a message on Discord so you can try and sell me your art. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they come in, hey, it looks like you're a new streamer. No, I'm not. F off.
Yeah, I've had way too many of those DMs. Hey, can you just spare a minute to chat? No, not interested.
No, not interested.
I don't want your artwork.
What
Normally,
is your strategy?
I'll just put some random things.
What was your strategy when you were making your videos for YouTube? Because obviously you do the video, you do the 1v1 live on Twitch, then you go in and edit. Did you have a strategy of, okay, this is what I want for these clips, this is what I need to make sure I use or put in there? Or was it just like if you found something?
Well, it was every game. We were doing every game from the seasons, but it was 2 games per video. So that would normally equal around 8 to 14 minutes. So it worked out kind of perfect for the amount of videos, but I wanted to do one every single day.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up with a huge backlog. So like the tournament finished and I still haven't put the main tournament video out. I actually need to edit all of that because it's like 12 hours of content. So editing all that down is just a nightmare. But that was the main thing. It was to get 2 videos in there, and then I'd rewatch the games for anything in particular to put as the title and the thumbnail So there had to be something specific that happened in one of the matches to put it as the title.
Yeah.
Or we had some quite big names that joined as well. So during their games was quite easy. Whenever they were playing, it was easy just to use their name for the titles.
Yeah. Because you get people in and they've already got recognition.
Yeah.
From elsewhere. And I'm sure that helps to pull in their audience too, to your YouTube or to your channel or whatever as well. So
yeah, they were promoting it as well, so that was definitely helpful. We had quite a lot of new people come in. Like the YouTube side of things just boomed straight away. You know, it was going up to anywhere from 800 to 4,000 views per video every day. So it boomed quite quickly, but it's just hard to keep up with that. You'd have to constantly do seasons, and I just decided to take a step back for a little while and see what I want to do now.
Yeah. What about your shorts? Working on your like YouTube shorts, and you mentioned TikTok. We talked about TikTok a little bit earlier. Do you have a strategy for putting those out, or is it just like whatever?
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just having time to make everything. Like if I had somebody close to me that I was either paying or was making that, then that would be so much easier. But it's just having the time to do it.
Yeah,
I just don't have a lot of free time during my normal week. In between like working 50 hours a week and then having my kids at the weekend and girlfriend to stream time, it's very difficult to add anything extra.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of time to make TikTok videos and shorts and everything like that, especially if you want to make them well instead of just like drag it and throw it on there.
Yeah. What about when you were going through and making the because YouTube's like thumbnails, a lot of people like use them. It took me forever. I was like, I see other people and I'm like, this looks really cool. And I was like, why don't I do that? Why don't I do the thing? And I was like, oh, thumbnails, this is super easy. Why didn't I fucking start doing this earlier? And I've actually literally seen the benefit once I started using them. Like I've seen the numbers uptick because, the thumbnail actually tells you, it pulls in an audience, a well done thumbnail. And so you kind of have a theme on all of them. What was kind of your strategy putting that together, and like what you wanted to do for a background and the characters and getting things cropped, and you have your character from Dead by Daylight but you don't have the background on there, that kind of stuff.
Well, it was like I completely agree with you. Like 4 years ago when I started making YouTube videos, it was just basic thumbnails from Streamlabs, and they were just flops. And it's the same when I look through YouTube. If I'm randomly scanning and I decide to watch a new line of content, you definitely go by thumbnails. Like if it's just a basic thumbnail, I'm not going to click on it. So
yeah, or if it's just
when
a clip
I changed
from the thing.
to these, when I changed from these thumbnails that I use now, it boomed. When we had a couple of videos, there was like Bloodpoint videos years ago that absolutely skyrocketed. That's where Johnny came from. Johnny's been hanging around for 3 years. That's where he came from, that video.
Okay.
And that was like when we started making fresh, new looking thumbnails. But it was a very easy transition. Like once you know how to make them, it's quite easy to make a decent looking thumbnail.
Yeah.
Do you use any programs? Like what do you use for your thumbnails?
I do use a couple. So I moved to when TikTok came out, because like I was using like shitty based what comes with Windows video editor, because I didn't need to do a lot for video editing at the when I first started the podcast. It's like I just want to make sure that I have the video, and that's it. I cut off the beginning, the end. If I need to cut out things in the middle, I will. No big deal. But then I started doing some of the other stuff, and like I started doing TikTok because I had a friend of mine who had 300,000 followers across 3 different accounts that he had. And I was like, well, I need to get on this rage called TikTok and get in there, because I'm creative and I'm used to be an actor and whatever. It's like, God damn.
Oh, I didn't know that. Nice.
I gotta edit this shit. Like, and I went to school. Like when I went to college, my first run around was broadcasting and journalism, and we had to edit videos. I remember us having to edit, like, you take 3 videos of yourself going up a flight of stairs from different angles, and then you have to edit them together so it looks like you're going up 10 flights of stairs.
Right.
Jesus criminy, what a pain in the ass. Now it wouldn't have been a big deal. You're talking old, VHS tapes you're doing that with. But yeah, so then eventually there was a promo thing. It's like, yeah, you'll get it was like $100 or for like $50 worth of advertising credit on TikTok if you try CapCut.
All
And I kept
right.
seeing people use CapCut, and I'm like, sure, grab that on my phone, and I'll use whatever. And people were doing these animations where like you take a picture and it would change into something else. And I was like, that's
Hmm.
cool. And then I realized that I could edit the videos on my phone. It's like, oh, that's great. So I was just doing these crappy little, whatever editing on my phone, and then I found out that they have a desktop version. And I was like, oh my god, this desktop version has all kinds of stuff. I can have text and animated text. I can move stuff around, and all kinds of stuff. And I was already
Yeah.
paying for the pro version so that I could use some of the stuff on my phone. So I was like, well, I'll just do it on my computer as well. So it was a no brainer. So that's kind of what I've been using for my video editing. And I've had a version of Photoshop for 20 years. That should probably tell you how old that version of Photoshop is. If Photoshop, if you're watching this, I'm totally not using an ancient version of Photoshop that you're gonna make me try and upgrade to. That totally isn't the thing. But but yeah, I'm using an ancient version of Photoshop to do like my thumbnail editing and whatnot because it does what I need. I don't, I'd love to have some of the new fancy stuff where I could like click a button and it automatically takes a picture and turns it into an animation with no work on my end. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great. But I'm not going to spend, you know, $30 a month or whatever it is to get the new version of Photoshop just so I can do that. Like I've got a version of
Yeah, it's
Photoshop and I
very
can
expensive.
spend nothing on it. So, hello, Captain Madman. Welcome on in.
That's what I was using, the Adobe ones, but they charge quite a lot each month. I use the Adobe Photoshop and the Premiere Pro, so
Premiere
like
Pro,
the video editor. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's very expensive. I think it's like 29. I think it's 20. Is it 24.99 or 29.99, something like that?
Yeah, and it makes sense because the old system was you'd buy it and you own that program forever,
Yeah,
and then they'd have to come out with a new version of it, and then you'd have to buy it and come out with a new
yeah,
one. But this way, you're paying a subscription, so every month, you have to do it for the rest of your life.
yeah,
So, like monetarily wise, yeah, it's a great model for them, not a great model for their consumers.
yeah, exactly.
But I did find another one that's old school where you can buy the photo editor and it's like I think it's like $300 and you get it, and once you get it you have it forever. And I have it on
Yeah,
my wish list, and eventually I might pick it up because it's all modern. It's got all the stuff, and it's basically the modern Adobe Photoshop in there. And I might fork out the money at some point, but right now I don't need it. So this list.
well, I did have a video editor before I had to start using Adobe halfway through the first season. I was using a different editor that was the same that I brought it, and then I had it, and I had the product key and everything.
Yeah.
But one day I had to reinstall it because it bugged out some reason. One of the files was missing, so I had to reinstall it, and I forgot what the product key was, and I
Oh
couldn't find
no.
it in any email. So I own the program, but no idea how to get it back.
Oh
Like every
man.
time I try and recover the password, it says wrong email. So I just moved to Adobe. I scrapped it off and went to Adobe instead.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, it didn't cost that much though. It wasn't that expensive. I think it was like 50 pound to buy the
Oh
thing.
yeah,
So it
that's not
wasn't,
super bad. That's actually.
wasn't. Yeah, I used it for like 3 years, so it had its worth.
Yeah, you got your money's worth out of
Hmm.
it. Did you have a
Yeah,
strategy for how you were going to format um, some of your clips and whatnot
I
ahead of time?
do, but it's it's hard to get it done. Like I still don't really know what to use for TikTok videos. It's something I've really got to look into. I don't know what programs to actually use to get it the way I want it. Like it's quite simple. Like I was saying to you, all I want is something that would have the video across the bottom and then just like a circle above that has purely your face zoomed in on.
Yeah,
So pretty much how we are now, but we would be more up central and then the video would be underneath.
yeah, kind of your standard.
Because yeah, just having the little camera in the corner is not good enough on like clips and stuff. You need it a little bit zoomed in. You need to have the face, so you've got the reaction.
Yeah.
And then I would just clip funny things, just anything funny, any laughable moments, any most of the drunk moments, because we get a lot of funny moments because half the time we're hammered. So most of the time we're pretty drunk, so we're normally just talking absolute shite, and then you end up having funny things happen because you're just out of your face. But so I think the clips would be easy to do. It's just getting them done.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea what program to use to make that quick. I can do it on Premiere Pro or stuff like that, but it just takes so long. I don't know. I need a program that I can just basically insert it, give me the captions, give me the video, pull it out, done.
Yes. All about the pulling it out. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I've got 2 kids. I wouldn't know.
You would know or you wouldn't know because you've got 2 kids.
Wouldn't. The pull-out game's weak.
Did your strategy change when you first started? Because you mentioned you had other stuff, logged up, and then you kind of changed it. How did your theory of what you were going to make for content change? Because I know you told me, like, on TikTok, you deleted a bunch of stuff because you were going to try and change it up and reset it. Did your plan on how you were going to make content, and this is both on Twitch when you first started to now, did your plan change how you were going to make content throughout time? And has it changed for the better or for the worse?
It changes all the time from like when we first started. It's really different. I like things to be one group, so people go somewhere to see something. So I don't want my YouTube channel being like 50 different videos of 50 different things, and people that want to go and watch like 1v1 videos, then they end up on like a Valorant video or something else. So I wanted to keep it all clumped together. That was the plan with TikTok. So originally it was just funny clips, which is what most of the following came from, just silly, funny clips.
Yeah.
And then I swapped to the 1v1, so I deleted everything because I wanted to be purely for the 1v1 content. But that ended up taking way too much time. We had like a backlog of 700 videos that would have been for TikTok. So I said, even if I release like 3 a day, this is going to take me 3/4 of a year to get this content out. So I just scrapped all of that. And now we're going back to just clips, so the strategy changes all the time. There's so many different avenues to go down. Like the 1v1 stuff is kind of on hold at the moment. It's a difficult one. I don't know where to go, because just doing the same thing all the time, it's going to get boring eventually. So it's nice. We've mixed in a few games here and there, but yeah, I'm not sure where it's going to go, like TikTok wise and YouTube video wise.
Do you find having a niche actually does work out better? Because that's kind of what you're talking about. Like, you were doing that one, just funny clips, then moving to the 1v1. That's kind of like holding that niche in the platform.
Yeah, and the 1v1 stuff, it worked out quite nicely because it's quite a niche on its own. Like, there's not much 1v1 going. There's the DVD League, and that's about it.
Yeah,
like they're the only ones that are really doing 1v1 content. So that was quite nice. There was a big hole in the market there. We went from the original idea was we were messing around doing 1v1s, and then I went onto YouTube and put in 1v1 and couldn't find anything. There was no tournament setting. There was no nothing. It was just random videos of random 1v1s with people. So it wasn't anything structured. So that was when we kind of jumped into that. Let's take the market of let's make a tournament and just run it for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it worked quite well. There was the amount of times we would go into random DVD games and get asked, oh, you're that 1v1 guy. It was, it's the only thing you search for. If you go on YouTube and search for it, it's most of it that comes up is from the season.
Yeah.
Because no one else was doing anything. But it's just a lot of work to keep up with. Trying to keep, like, the tournament was the worst because trying to get 32 people to show up at the same time within like a 3-hour gap was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just all the time it was, oh, can you wait for me? Can you wait 10 minutes? Can you give me an hour? Maybe can I do it tomorrow? It was like, no, you have to do it today. There's no tomorrow. So yeah, it was just a nightmare trying to arrange everything.
How did you pull that together? And maybe that's more for our Dead by Daylight commentary here in a moment.
Yeah, we strayed away a little bit there.
It happens. I did want to mention before we continue that, like, I've mentioned this before in the past that there's, a lot of things with social media, with TikTok, with the YouTube Shorts, with Instagram, even with Facebook a little bit. There's this thing where the algorithm wants to read this one thing and it wants to put you in a shoebox, and this is your shoebox. And for me personally, it sucks because it's like I have the podcast, I still do the video game streams, I do the Off the Pod, I do the tabletop role playing. And so it's like it doesn't ever know which shoebox to put me in, so it can never quite figure it out. And it's become a pain in the ass for me personally to try and get growth on certain social media because that's just the way those platforms are designed.
Yeah. I found that TikTok's it was the easier one to get growth on. Like YouTube's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's so difficult to get to that monetization. It's so much harder than like Twitch. Twitch is quite easy to get.
Because they set their goals so high, right?
Yeah, like the partner status is a whole new level on Twitch, but the affiliate status easy to get. But YouTube very difficult. 4,000 hours of watch time in your videos is very difficult to get.
Yeah.
Because even if you have a 10-minute video and you have 10 people watch that video, they're going to skip. No one's going to sit there for the full 10 minutes and watch. They're going to skip either the intro, skip the end. So it's already chopped down to watch time, every time they skip. Most of my videos that were 12 minutes would end up with 5 to 7 minutes watch time out of the 12. So, people are skipping through, fast forwarding.
Yeah, they just want to see the highlights. Their ADHD brain can't keep up with the long-term format.
Yeah, if you say, all right, the game's going to start in 5 seconds, people will skip that 5 seconds because they don't want to sit there and watch the 5 seconds.
Yeah, if you say, before we get started, they're going to skip ahead. They're going to look for the little bar where it raises up and, okay, this is the part everybody wants to watch.
Yep.
They're looking for the booby scene in the movie.
Checking out the shower scene.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Why is the oh no, my button stopped working.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You see, and you were trying to convince me to set up my stream deck. Now this will happen.
Shh. I can't even pull up. Oh, hold on a second. That's
Yeah,
nope. Oh, now it's working. There we go. Oh, it reset. I wonder what's going on here. I was trying to cycle through my thing, but I can't even pull up the...
We'll be cycling through the topics.
Yeah. So it's supposed to cycle through the topics, but it's not. The topics aren't cycling at all. They're like not cycling, period.
Oh. So do you upload on TikTok?
I do. I upload. I do shorts. So like I'll take clips. Usually it's from the podcast. I'll come in and I'll edit a short, essentially clip from the podcast. And so I usually try to save 5 to 10 clips from a podcast episode, edit them down, get them arranged, and then I save them. And then like the original idea is to upload at least 3 every week. It's been 1 or 2. It hasn't been that good.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't had the time, like you said, the time to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been what the plan was, but not necessarily what the plan is.
Yeah, it's hard to keep regular as well, and the algorithm cuts you off a lot if you're not regular.
Right.
With like YouTube and stuff, I found that if I was uploading daily or twice a day, the algorithm was bumping at like 8 a.m. every day.
Oh wow!
So every day you would see an 8 a.m. spike. At dead on 8, it would spike up. It would fan off throughout the day, and then about 6 p.m. they would push it again, and it would start spiking again.
Yeah, it'd be really weird. I'd upload it, and I wouldn't get a hit for a day. 24 hours would go by, and then the next day I look, it's like, oh, over 1,000 views. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, whereas if you're on TikTok, you upload a video to TikTok, in an hour you hit wherever your cap is, and then it's just done. Then it just dies out. It's like so weird, the two different things. I think I found a bypass to
for them.
I found a bypass to the topic thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on. I pulled it up and it was working fine. So yeah, don't listen to me. This is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Never had that happen in the 3 years that I've had these things. Hello, Nick and Dust Joker. I have a big question for the both of you. If you both like playing Dead by Daylight, and with the most famous monsters from the movies and TV and all, would you guys be happy if the game had the ghost with the most, I can't say his name 3 times? You know what? I'm going to wait, Renfield. I think we're going to ruminate on this question. We'll start off with this question after the break. Do you know who they're talking about, Deathstroker?
I was just trying to think that. Who? The ghost you can't name 3 times. Who?
Yeah, the ghost with the most. And you can't say his name 3 times. They've got a sequel movie coming out.
I have no idea.
With Michael
I'm trying to
Keaton?
think of it.
Wow. He doesn't know.
Okay, okay, yes, I know. Yeah,
There you go, Beetlejuice. Yeah, Beetlejuice.
I never thought of Beetlejuice as a ghost. To be fair, yeah, I don't really think of him as ghost. Yeah, okay.
He's dead.
I'm looking forward to the sequel as well.
I saw the second trailer this weekend, and I about crapped my pants. I'm very excited for it. So, all right, guys. When we come back from the break, we are going to talk all things Dead by Daylight. We'll answer Renfield's question. We'll talk about that, and we'll, whatever you guys want to talk about with Dead by Daylight. Plus, also we have the wonderful topic called Potluck, where it's whatever the hell we want to talk about. We also have that coming up, so stick around. Let's see if these other buttons work on my Stream Deck or if I've been cursed. So we'll be back in just a few short minutes. Stick around.
They premiered this song in concert at a convention I was at PAX East, and they showed the video of it, and I was watching it, and I was like, that's a really good idea for a game. And so for the rest of the concert, I spent just sort of thinking about this game that was, coming into my head. What I forgot was that they had put me down in the sort of front row guest seats, and there was a camera on me the whole time. And so what would happen was you would see, Paul and Storm on stage, and then they'd cut to the crowd in this guest area, and everybody would be laughing and having a great time. And I'd just be sitting there going, and just like I couldn't be less interested in what was going on.
The thing I'm still best known for, it was called Night Train, and it was about basically a drain full of vampires, and that one just captured everyone's imagination. And from there I went to reading over one of the first source books they released, and then I ended up writing the second one, Hucksters and Hexes, and maybe the third, Fire and Brimstone, and then on from there. So it was something I had thought about getting into.
Those are some core books for that system. Like when you wanted to play the game, other than the main book, those books, those two that you just mentioned right now, those were huge content pieces for people that wanted to play certain roles.
Are you familiar with the term pantsing?
Yes.
People are outliners or pantsers. They write by the seat of their pants. So I had a vague idea of this novel I wanted to write in my own world. And I just sat down and started writing.
I mean, pantsing for some people means something completely different, but I know what you mean.
In the writing vernacular, nothing to do with actual pants.
We took a picture of the tape. Like, he was like, don't take any pictures of this because people on the internet will take it apart. And our intern at the time took a photo across the table of me playing and how happy I was. And he was like, yeah, go ahead and post that one. And then people literally zoomed in, like, it's me facing her and all the papers on the table in front of us. And people were literally like drilling into that and like typing what they saw on the pieces of paper. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Cool. You have a favorite class you play in World of Warcraft?
I always have a favorite class that's different every week, which is why I have 4 level 70 characters waiting for the next expansion.
Nice.
I like the Warlock. I use my Warlock for soloing because they're so overpowered. It's insane. I use my Paladin as my gatherer for herbs and mining because a Paladin, you can't kill them.
Yeah.
They're boring. It's a protection Pally. You can't kill them. I'll stay alive. You're not going to kill me. But 3 hours later before I kill you, but I will.
I was a huge fan of Star Trek as a kid. I remember the original series. I was so upset when it went off. I was like 10 years old, and I loved it. So the first real Star Trek episode I got, and it was the best part I played, was on Deep Space Nine. I played a Bajoran resistance leader, and I had the funny little thing on my nose.
Yeah.
And I I loved it. And then I the casting people really liked me, and they would bring me in for stuff, and it was smaller roles, oftentimes just to get my health coverage. But I remember one time when I played a Starfleet officer. It was on the one when the Borg was eating everybody. I forgot the name of the movie, but
First Contact? No.
yeah, First Contact. Yeah, it was First
Contact. Okay.
Again, in case that's not obvious.
Well,
If your
Pence's the
dragon is,
Burninator.
yes, is stymied and runs out of health, he stomps all over the board trying to crush everything and burn it to the ground. Just in one epic meltdown. And if you win that way, that's awesome too. It was a really great project in terms of working with the team too, because it was incredibly difficult not to quote back to the brothers chaps their own lines.
I can imagine that's a hard part for them too, because having people run up, recognizing them, and just run
Yeah.
up to them and go "Burning in the countryside." They're like,
Yeah.
"Wait, yes, we get it.
Yeah, well, it's one
Continue,
thing
get
if-
it over with, get it out of your system."
Right. It's one thing if it's a fan, I guess that counts as communication, but it's another if it's work dialogue, right? So I had to like ratchet it down. But you know, yeah. We'll put it into mass release soon. We're basically done with the fulfillment on the Kickstarter, but we're just making sure about everything that we have for that. But yeah, the Underworld will be the first new expansion for Lords of Vegas in 7 years,
Wow.
and that'll be great. And then we just got into it. We've now written about I think we've written 5 new expansions for the game in the last few months.
We took a picture of the tape. Like he was like, don't take any pictures of this because people on the internet will take it apart. And our intern at the time took a photo across the table of me playing and how happy I was. And he was like, yeah, go ahead and post that one. And then people literally zoomed in, like, you know, it's me facing her and all the papers on the table in front of us. And people were literally like drilling into that and like typing what they saw.
Welcome in, Raiders. DM Wolf coming in with a raid. Sorry, we are on the Be Right Back screen, but DM Wolf coming on in over. Welcome on in, Raiders. How are you all doing? How is your stream? How is the podcast? How is the show? DM Wolf is also a streamer. There's a little shouty out. We'll watch a little clip. What is he playing in this clip?
Weasling Adi.
Nevertheless, Ryder?
I can't unsee that. That's just.
Naked guy. Naked person. You can't unsee the nakedness.
Think I'm gonna need a minute.
Guys, go and check out DM Wolf.
What?
Video games, does a lot of D&D type stuff. Podcast extraordinaire as well. Great, awesome person. He's been on this show in the past. You can go check that out on the VOD on YouTube. And I've been on his show as well. You can also go check out his podcast on YouTube as well. So thank you guys so much for coming in. Thank you all for joining us. I am joined by the one, the only, the premier drunken Dead by Daylight streamer in the world, Death's Joker. We've already spent a little bit of time today talking. We were doing some favorite foods, talking about favorite foods. We found out that you used to be a chef, did some cooking, so you have a little insight on cooking and food. We also spent some time talking about Twitch and YouTube and the connection between the two of them and setting those up and promoting those and the algorithms and whatever other shenanigans we talked about with those. So we've had some good talks, good chats tonight. Thank you for being here. Please stick around because it's going to be a lot of fun. Boom! Thank you for the sub, DM Wolf. It's going good. It's going good. Welcome on in. I appreciate you as always. As always.
Has that got a different sound alert if you used Prime? Is that a different one?
I might have one for Prime. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a separate one for Prime. I didn't need. I know I have separate ones for like the 5 bombs and the gift subs. So if somebody gift subs, it's got a different alert, and if somebody does a 5 bomb, it does yet another alert. I don't know if I have a separate one. Can you have a separate one for Prime subs?
Yeah, it has the normal sub one and the Prime sub one.
Oh,
You can separate them.
I'm gonna have to take a look into that and get a unique one if I don't already. Maybe I do have one set up. I didn't know. We'll have to check it out and take a looky see. And also thank you everybody participating in the community challenges. We completed our jump scare challenge. We are getting close to our fishing lure stream, and we're over halfway on the paranormal news and spooky tales stream as well. And that's actually my favorite one to do. But people can come in and tell their stories, and we'll go over anything that's somewhat paranormal or cryptid or ghosts or UFOs or was just even strange stories. And oftentimes I'll even just make fun of them a little bit. So.
Do you believe in the paranormal?
I do.
Like ghosts and stuff like that?
I do. I've seen some shit. I've seen some shit and I've experienced some shit. And my whole family everybody in my family has something so like my mom she always could see when people close to her passed away. She would instantly know. And there have been times where she would actually show symptoms of whatever caused their death. So the one that stands out most was she woke up in the middle of the night screaming the top of her lungs, and she said she felt like her head had exploded. She's like, my skull is like, it is the worst. Like we took her to the ER, and they're like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like you're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong. And eventually it subsided. It went away. But the next day we found out that somebody had been in a car accident and they died from severe head trauma.
Oh, damn.
Like they were in an accident and like their head was crushed basically. So yeah, she could do that kind of stuff. And, just all kinds of weird things. My one of my uncles apparently who passed away when I was younger, he had very almost like, what is it where you can picture things, photographic memory, but of a different life, like a past life photographic memory, all the way up through like teenage years, where they would go someplace and he'd be able to tell them directions on how to get somewhere he had never been before, and they would follow the directions and they would get to where they were trying to find exactly of that. Or he would talk about pictures of things and then they would find a picture of whatever it is that nobody had ever seen. So yeah, some crazy
nice
psychic ability type stuff. And I know you guys get a lot of paranormal ghosts type stuff over there, a lot of haunted locations, castles, history, the way it is. So what about you?
My partner believes heavily, me not so much.
Okay.
I see, if I had the experiences, I would. I'm very much a see it to believe it kind of guy, something would have to happen to me beyond reasonable doubt. I've had loads of stories, loads of things that I've heard from family members. Like my mum's a strong believer, my sister, I would have to see something. Most stories that people tell me, I'm like, well, if it happened to me, then I would believe, but
yeah,
like I would need to see something for me to go, 100% believe.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll delve a little bit more into that on the potluck. We'll get into that here later on. Guys, we did talk a little bit about the 1v1 tournament and Dead by Daylight. And as I said when I introduced Ask Joker, he is a premier Drunken Dead by Daylight streamer in the world. With that being said, I want to get your take on something that is somewhat recent. The cross progression announcement that they're doing, where you can merge all of your accounts into one progression. What is your thoughts on that? Good, bad, ugly, skeptical?
Yeah, I only found out about that yesterday, actually. I think it was Scottish that told me about it. I think it's a good thing. Like, if you've spent 2,000 hours on Xbox and then you can't transfer that over and you've now brought a PC and you're a PC gamer, like, that's horrible that you've got to start from scratch.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I've known so many people to have to do the same thing. They've brought characters, spent money, wasted so much time on progression in the game, and then you've got to lose it all. That's just, it sucks. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. By the way, hello, Aggressively Violet as well. Welcome in, and also Katie. Welcome in, Katie. Katie says hello to you.
Yeah, it's kind of weird watching myself. I'm not going to lie. I put your stream up on the second screen right next to me. It's weird.
It's always fun. Do you like the overlay? You like it?
Yeah, it's nice. It looks very nice. I like the transitions as well.
Thank you. I am home from the convention. We got home last night. So I am home, Katie. I am no longer out there. I think a couple people are still out there, but I am not. Yeah, I'm for the cross progression. I'm excited because from what I understand is any accounts, and so say like me, you bought the Freddy pack, right? The Freddy Krueger pack. Well, when you merge the accounts, you get credited for having it twice. So if you've bought all the products, you will get credit back, so you could get other things. In theory.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm very excited for that. I don't know how much progression I have anymore on either. Like I know how much I have on the PC, but I don't like. I had a lot of progression from what I recall on my PlayStation because I played it a shit ton on PlayStation. But keep in mind that was back when it was a different animal altogether, right? They had, there was no like 3,500,000 prestige levels that you would get and unlock things. It was like, and how you unlocked what you could share to the other characters was done differently, and just all of that was just completely done differently. So I'm very curious what they're going to let you keep, what they're going to count towards you, what they're not going to count towards you. So I think first and foremost, it's probably the biggest thing for me is going to be getting to get some credits back onto my account for the things that I've purchased twice. So
it has changed a lot over the years, to be fair. How long has it been out for now? Like 10 years, 9 years?
God,
well, it was 2016, I think.
It's got to be at least 10, right?
I think it was out in 2016, if I remember correctly.
Maybe
so
Chat
8 years.
maybe Chat can look it up for us.
Yeah, I'm like 60, probably about 70% sure, because normally when I upload like a YouTube video, it says name of the game, DVD, and I think it says in brackets 2016. I think that's when I started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you started right at the beginning as well then?
Yeah, right at the start.
It just had its 8-year anniversary. Yeah. I think I started right after, probably one expansion after the Freddy Krueger one, because that was what got me. I was like, I can play as Freddy. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Because I'm a big, you and I have talked in chat. I've come into your chat and talked about that. Like Freddy's been one of my favorite icons of horror since the beginning of fucking time. And so being able to play him was a lot of fun. And they've redone him 2 or 3 times now. And I still play him. I played him when he was really shitty. I play him now and he's still not the best.
Yeah, he's still not the best.
But I still enjoy it. I still get, 4Ks against people that are good. And I don't play as regularly as a lot of the people in the community do. I'm probably one of the least regular Dead by Daylight players in the community. But yeah, that's my go-to. Out of the characters, all of the characters, who is your go-to killer?
Killer. If we were going to say survivors, it's got to be Steve, isn't it? Got to be Steve. Killer-wise,
Clown because all the survivors are the same, right? They're all there's nothing special about them. It's just a skin in the long run.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, if like a lot of the pros and stuff will use like Ace because he's quiet. So anyone in like a pro setting, when the game first came out, everyone used Ace because he basically had a built-in iron will. He was always quiet when he was injured, so you could barely hear him whimpering compared to other people. But most of them are pretty much the same. I don't really care.
Because you can put the perks on whoever you want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the killers, like, they have a special ability that is unique to them and only to them.
Yeah.
They can share perks, but they still have the one ability, whatever it is, that is unique to them.
Yeah, exactly. During the event, during the 1v1s, I was using Clown with the most success, and then I swapped off. When I had like 5 wins or something, I kind of just started messing around. And then I was playing anything. I was playing Knight. I was playing anything Wesker. Like in normal pub games, I'd probably say at the moment I'm really favoring Billy. I just love the Zoomy boy.
Okay.
I've started playing him a hell of a lot lately, which is funny because I never played him from when there was only 3 characters. Never played Billy at all. I always picked Wraith. When the game first came out, there was only Trapper, Billy, and Wraith. They were the only 3 characters.
Oh wow!
So I never touched Billy. But it was hard. It was hard to get rank 1 back then. You think like how it is now. Now you just play and it's easy to pick
Yeah, you
up
just
and
keep
stuff.
playing.
Back then it was really hard.
Yeah, you just keep playing.
Like you had to get a 4K to get a pip back then, and if you didn't, you would go down a pip. So when
and you were
hit rank
playing,
1,
and the algorithm was sorting you better back then.
Mhm.
Like the algorithm
Yeah, it
doesn't
was.
sort worth a crap now. Now
No.
you could be like, I'm all prestiged up, and then you get a bunch of noobs, or you're a noob, you're a whole team of noobs, and you get put up against some killer that's, you know, max prestige, awesome, you know, whatever killer, and he just owns you in like 3 seconds. The algorithm
Yeah.
sucks. But back then, if you were really good, you were against players who were really good. Period. End of subject.
Yeah.
There was no fuck around, you know, with that.
Like it feels like now that the MMR tries to favor MMR, but then quickly swaps once it hits like a 30-second timer. Like once you're in the lobby for like 30 seconds, it will just throw you against anyone. But like if you can get quick queues, it's normally the MMR's done correctly. But they value time over the MMR from what it looks like. They don't want you sitting around in queues for ages.
Yeah, I can see that too.
But they
I thought
made
that was the
ranking
point of them
easier.
doing the cross plat, though. I thought that was the whole
Yeah, yeah.
reason they merged all the servers, was so
Yeah.
that you'd have more people playing, and thus
Yeah, you don't
less-
want long ass lobbies. You don't want to be waiting around forever.
right. Redneck Jedi says, I
they,
heard they're going to be doing a 2v8 thing soon.
Yeah, I think that comes out next week.
Really?
I think the 2v8 comes out next week, I believe. Yeah, that'll be fun. Because it's the one thing I enjoyed about playing TCM was that you can play killer with your friends.
Yeah.
Which you could never do on DBD, but now they're bringing out a 2v8 system, so that'll be interesting to see for a
Yeah,
couple of weeks. To
and
see
it'll
if
be
it actually
interesting to
works.
see how killers work with each other.
Well, they're only putting a certain amount of killers in.
Oh,
I can't remember where it goes up to. They're putting in the first 3, Huntress and Nurse, I think, and I think that's where they're stopping.
Oh, that's a bummer. Because I was
Yeah,
just
they're not
thinking of the
putting all of them in.
combinations of things you can do. Because, like as I said, I'm a big Freddy person. Imagine there being a bunch of fake pallets around, but then you get somebody else, you know,
Yeah.
who can work off of those fake pallets really well.
Yeah, apparently the other killer can see where the trapper's traps are, so at least you won't stand in those. Yeah, you can see where they are, so at least you're not going to be trapping your friend.
That's not fair. I mean, half the time,
Yeah.
a lot of the trappers step in their own trap anyhow. They can't
Yeah,
even see their own
true.
goddamn traps.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
been there, that happens.
And let's go, Octavius, sulking on my teethies like you wantin' me calling me. Wow, cheers to you, Octavius. Octavius and I had a lot to drink this weekend.
Yeah.
And they're Saturday night, neither of us remember a lot of things, so.
Oh my gosh. So how tall is Octavius really? He keeps telling me he's 6'3". Is he really tall?
Well, I am 6 foot. he's gonna leave chat when I mention this. He was giving me shit because I was taller than him, and I'm 6
Oh,
foot
right.
1. So,
Right, okay.
but
Yeah, so
I
he's a
also used to
loose-
be 6 foot
loose
2.
6'3".
But we're both. He
Mm.
and I are both getting old, so we're both shrinking. So you know, at one point he probably was. Lies. You said it on stream. Don't make me go back and clip it. Don't make me go
Yeah.
back and clip it. He's 6'3" in his pants. Maybe that's what he meant.
Oh wow, damn.
Just in the pants. That's why all the girls love him.
Yeah.
Hey, Octavius had my reaction. Your reaction. I can't play Get Out of playing golf with your friends. We clipped it. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so who is the killer you hate facing the most when you're playing? Who's somebody you're like, oh god, it's this XYZ killer?
It's weird. It's Spirit for me. Spirit just fucks me up. I don't know why. Like I just can't focus against Spirit. Any killer I play against, normally I roughly know what I'm doing, where I'm going, but Spirit just messes me up. Even though they nerfed her, so you can hear which direction she's phasing from, it still fucks me up.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, it's just I don't know if it's a mental thing. It's the same when I play killer side. Like there's just some games that I'll go into and I just know I won't hit anything. I'm like, I'm gonna miss every single hatchet, every single shot. Like I just know I'm gonna miss everything. There's some games where I just don't feel right. But you know, once I get a couple of shots into me, I feel all right.
Gotcha. Do you have so this is me. When I'm playing as a survivor, if somebody comes up and the killer is somebody I like, if the killer is a Freddy, if the killer is a clown, if a killer is Chucky, I get excited even if I know I'm going to get my ass handed to me, I still get excited just so I can see from a survivor standpoint how they played that character. Are you the same way?
It depends really. Like I know there's a lot of hate in my community for Trickster, like mainly from Johnny, but I actually like playing against Tricksters. I don't play as Trickster, but playing against him is always good fun because I like the feeling of running around Shack with him. You know, everyone always says how hard it is to play against Trickster, so I enjoy the long loops around Shack and the high loops and stuff. Like it's mainly Tricksters I get quite excited about. Maybe Vecna at the moment because it's quite difficult to run against him, so that's quite fun. But most of the others is kind of, you know, after all this time, it's kind of played out.
Yeah.
And pigs don't boop anymore. Where's all the boopy pigs? None of them boop anymore.
What the hell? Don't boop. Get the boops in.
Yeah,
Get
none
the
of them do it
boops.
anymore.
You know, I always thought that every time, and maybe it's still like this, but I felt, because I haven't really played a bunch lately, every time they come out with a new killer, the first thing I think is, man, this new killer is just too OP. Every game, every time. Wesker comes out, man, this one's too OP.
Yeah.
Alien comes out, oh, he's way too OP. They keep making him more powerful, but then you look back and you're just like, now it's like, well, Wesker's not that bad. Wesker's not that bad. Pinhead's not that bad. You know, when Pinhead first came out, I was like, they need to nerf his sorry ass. And that's like, it's not as bad as, you know, the new one, whatever the new one was.
It literally happens with every killer. The same thing happened with Vecna. It was too OP. The ghosts, the mage hand. They nerfed the mage hand a little bit, but the ghosts, they say too OP, and you know you can't dodge them. And then as soon as people realized that you can duck dodge them, all you got to do is duck down, then he became a lot less OP.
Oh.
But it only takes it's like first week. You know, people just need practice against them. Once people have played against them quite a lot, you get used to the little tips and tricks.
Except for that one dude that you know, he was all gangly and weird and like put little
the unknown,
put little cameras up on the thing or whatever. What was he?
The Singularity, yeah.
Yeah, the Singularity. He sucked. He sucked when he came out. He still sucks.
Yeah.
I thought he looked so cool, and I was so excited. I was like, I want to play this guy. He looks so badass, and I was like, this guy fucking sucks. He sucks.
A few people played him in the 1v1s. You know, they actually did all right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's because you start at Shack, so he can set up the cameras quite easily, you know, and they can't get away from Shack. You can sort of just lock them into TP to him. So, yeah, he's not too bad, but yeah, he's not great.
What was some of the keys to doing those 1v1s? Is there this is a key that everybody uses for a strategy to win, either as a killer or as a survivor?
It was mainly just what you're good at. Like most people are good at one or the other. It's rare to find someone that's good at both. That was the fun part about it. So you can have people who are really good killers, but they didn't really know what they were doing as survivor. So they would down people very fast, but then go down themselves very fast. So if you knew the basics of both, you had a good chance of getting through.
Okay.
You know, I'm decent as survivor, but absolutely terrible at killer. So I was really leaning on my survivor side to do well. So the killer side, I was thinking just try and get them down in under 2 minutes. So I need to pick a killer that's pretty much a guaranteed down. Like Billy is all skill based, so there's no guarantee you're getting them down. Whereas someone like Clown, eventually you're going to slow them down enough that you're going to hit them.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went for, as long as it's under 2 minutes, I have faith that I can run anyone for 2 minutes. So that was kind of the thought process.
Well, and there are certain characters that are going to not do very well. So like somebody that's like I play Freddy a long base.
Yeah.
So I go for the long game with him.
Yeah.
So I don't expect him doing very well on that. I guess maybe with the portals you could throw it at a door or whatever, and if they try looping around. But I can see like Clown, like, you know, he's kind of designed, he's got the long range, he's got the short range, you know, he's got the bomb. So it's like there's a lot of things, a lot of versatility with that. But then you get somebody like Trickster. Was he one of the more popular ones in the 1v1s?
Not really. I think he was only played by like 2 people. It was mainly Wesker because of the speed jump, so he can catch people on loops, and then Demo because he can jump as well. It's mainly mobility. Nurse was banned because Nurse was she's always ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, she'll always be the best killer in the game. Like, they've tried nerfing her 100 times. And unless you take away that she can go through a wall, you can't nerf Nurse. You know, she's always going to be the best because no loops exist. So we had to remove her altogether because she was played in our first tester tournament that we did for £100. and they just destroyed everyone. Every nurse just ran through, no problem. You both start a jack, and within 5-10 seconds, you've got the first hit. So everyone was going down in 30 seconds.
What you need to do is you need to have a losers bracket and call it the nurse losers bracket. To get back in, you can only play the nurse and only be played against the nurse in the losers bracket to get back into the main one. And then she's banned again. And that way you still get some nurse content.
Yeah. Well, the plan was for season 2, we were planning on forcing people to play different killers. So in season 1, you could play Blight. So say you had 3 games, it went 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, you win. You could play Blight all 3 times. Whereas in this season, it was going to be you can only play a killer 1 time. So if you play Blight, your second round you have to play something else. Third round you have to play something else. Just to mix it up for people a little bit. That was the original plan.
Okay, I can see that though too, because then it's less on the character you're playing and more on your actual skill.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're very good with, Blight, next game you better have someone that you're just as good with, because the other person could have been using their crappy one for that round and then using their good character for the second round. So there'll be a lot of mind games in there as well. If you've got 2 characters you're good with, do you use both of them at the start, or do you save one for round 3?
Right. Yeah. If you can make it that long.
Yeah, exactly. So there would have been a lot of mind gaming in there, because we saw a lot of spirits in the main tournament. When we had the big cash tournament, there was a lot of spirits and a lot of billies. So everyone went for that OP player instead of the whole way through they were playing Blight, Huntress, Trickster, anything. Yeah. So then they saved it for the tournament to bring out like Billy. Okay. So like Xeno was just downing people with Billy in like 10 seconds.
Oh man, crazy.
Yeah.
Red says, I like the Trickster better now since they updated him. Sorry, what was that?
I would say, but if we had the rules from now where you had to change every time, it would have been a lot harder. So he wouldn't have been able to just run Billy every single round.
Well, not only would it have been harder, but for some people it might have also been easier. The people that are survivor-based might have a little bit better of a chance as well. Because, again, like we said, and you guys weren't running perks, right? No perks, right?
Yeah, no perks, yeah.
So, I mean, every survivor is the same when it comes to that, because you have no perks. The killers are different. So that might lean a little bit more heavily to people who are survivor-based.
Yeah.
Red says he likes Trickster now that they've updated Trickster.
Yeah, they changed them a little bit. They changed the drag back and the recoil on the knives and stuff, so you're not slinging them into the ceiling after you're hitting people. So yeah, now it kind of just goes in a straight line, so it's much easier to control.
Okay.
They changed the run speed of quite a few people as well, and they changed Huntress as well, so she now has 7 hatchets to begin with.
Jesus criminy! See, Huntress was one of those that I always thought was a little OP from the beginning, because from an original standpoint, or an original character standpoint, and I use the term loosely, she's always been somebody you come across all the time.
Yeah. She's a very regular character, even now.
Yeah, so I don't know. She's pretty badass. So for them to up her, and maybe it makes sense because the new killers are a little bit more tougher, so they need to retroactively to up it. But
they need to up people like Pig. How can you even buff Pig? Pig's just bad. Just an M1 killer, and her M2 is terrible. So it's so difficult to. The traps are really good. It slows down the game progression, but
for the people that don't play Dead by Daylight that are in here, because we do have a few that are in here that don't play Dead by Daylight. What is an M1 and an M2? Explain that for them.
Their basic swings. So everyone has a basic swing where you click and swing a short distance or hold it to swing a lunge. Mm-hmm. And then everyone has an M2, which is their ability. So Huntress can throw hatchets over things. So hers is much easier to use. Nurse can go through things. But the Pig is bad. She just crouches, growls, and then runs around and tries to swipe somebody. So it's very easy to predict, very easy to outrun. It's just a terrible ability to use. And you have to stop, crouch, charge, and then use it.
Yeah.
So very difficult to use. So it's hard to ever know how to buff her. How can you ever make her viable? She's never going to be viable. People just play her because they like the character, not for her being good.
They play her because they like it or for the memes.
Yeah, exactly. She's just not a good character.
Once you get that freaking headpiece on, for me as a survivor, when I get that thing on, I'm like, well, I'm fucked because I am not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to get this goddamn helmet off.
Yeah, there used to be an impossible Pig. they changed it because there used to be 4 boxes or 5. Yeah, it was 5. Was it 4? I think it was 4 boxes. Because she could bring an add-on to remove one, so it went from 5 to 4, and then she would just AFK at one of the boxes for the whole game and use the other add-on so everyone starts with trap on the head. So you would basically guarantee someone's head pops as soon as the gen goes because you couldn't move her out the way to do the trap box.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so obviously then they removed that because it was just, troll. But
Was there a
go
ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the only way to actually beat it was to 99 all the gens, ping them all, open the gate, and everyone leave, and you try and look for hatch because you couldn't get the hat off. So your only way out was through the hatch.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was funny to watch people panic and run around, though.
I bet. Redneck says it's always fun to watch. It's always fun to throw hatchets when they throw a pallet down.
Mm-hmm.
Deathslinger is his favorite killer. Huntress is fun. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I like a little slinger.
What is was there a, and I know the topic is over, but we could be on potluck here, but I wanted to ask you if there was there a nerf or a thing that they changed in the game that still to this day pisses you off to no end?
There's something that I wish they would change. Like, let me think. So nerfs probably to Dead Hard but I understand because 80% of the community was using Dead Hard. So that's a hell of a number, Like at the high point, they said it was like 84% or something of the whole community was using Dead Hard when it was at its peak. So for one perk out of hundreds of perks, that's a hell of a lot that every person is using.
Yeah.
So I understand it needed a nerf, but that one's probably annoying. But my biggest gripe with DBD is that you can 99 a door. They're like, and this is coming from a Survivor main, I hate that you can 99 a door. I think it should regress. Or because it would force people to open it and it would force people to use like Blood Warden and stuff more.
Yeah.
Because endgame builds don't get used because of 99 doors. So I feel like it should regress when you let go of it and keep going down.
Yeah.
So the person's either got to sit there tapping it or open the door. Because, in every game, everyone's 99 the door, go and save the person, then run to the door.
Yeah.
So I'm never been a fan of that. I wish they would take that out.
That makes sense.
Oh, I hate that they removed the hatch for the end game because that used to be fun. Like, it used to be if somebody died, the hatch will spawn when there's 1 gen. Then if another one dies, it will spawn at 2 gens. If another one dies, it will spawn at 3. So it used to spawn based on the gens completed.
Not just if you're the last one alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun because you used to actually bring a key. Like no one uses keys anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Since they nerfed that, now there's no point using the key. But that was always good fun.
Yeah, because like the odds of you being the last one alive and them knocking the hatch closed and you finding it
exactly
to use the key. I mean, what's the point? You might as well use something a little bit more useful.
Yeah, exactly.
My gripe is they changed where the hooks are. Like the hooks are so close together now that it doesn't matter if you almost always it's like, yeah, I disabled this one. All right, we need to disable 3 more to give us a fucking shot. To wiggle free. So that was always mine. It's like, why do they have so many hooks? Like, are they just trying to give it to killers?
Did you ever play in the days where the hooks were permanently destroyed?
Yes.
Yeah, that was messed up days because every killer had to bring Iron Grasp, no matter what. You had to bring it because the survivors would come in, break the hook, and they would be permanently broken for the rest of the game.
Yeah. So
the only hooks available were basement hooks. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to bring Iron Grasp just to drag them across the entire map.
Right.
Yeah, they were funny days.
They were.
I stood there doing a half an hour hatch standoff with someone before. Because in the old days, you couldn't just jump down the hatch. You'd get grabbed. So the killer would stand there staring at the hatch. You would stand on the other side. And it was a question of if they swung first, you'd crawl down. And if you jump first, they grab you.
Yeah.
So it was a standoff. You were both sitting there pretending to be AFK for half an hour for one of you to make a move. I sat there for half an hour staring at my screen for someone to jump down a hatch. They jumped though. I won.
That's funny.
It was worth it.
That's funny. They should let us use keys on the chests, like open them faster. Maybe color of the key lets you decide what you get out of the chest. Yeah, that could be interesting.
I like that idea actually.
Yeah. Make it so the keys actually fucking mean something, or just go back to the hatches. They've definitely moved the game to be more in killer's favors.
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. So
It's a hard one. That's a very hard topic because, like, I've always said, if you have a 4-man Swift, it's almost impossible to win. Like, if you have a good 4-man Swift, we're talking like comp players, like they'll win 99% of their games. They're only going to lose if they come against like a comp killer that plays like a comp killer.
yeah,
You know, because a good Swift is just impossible to beat. If everyone can run really well and all the others are just sitting on gens, you've basically won.
yeah.
Like, if anyone can do a decent 2-minute run, the game's over in 2 minutes.
But what are the percentages of that versus common players who just want to play the game and try and learn
Yeah,
and enjoy
exactly.
the game?
A lot more.
But but that's not the people that are spending the money on the game,
Mhm.
like the pro players that are doing
Yeah.
it. Like, they're spending a lot of money on the game, and they're promoting the game. So those are the people they want to focus on because that's where they're making their money. So I get it, but it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, I agree. The casual, it's very hard to go
Right.
into like a solo queue setting and for your very first time. It's very difficult because people, there's no room for error anymore. Like, you can't be a new person because you'll just get slated for it. If you're not doing something productive, everyone's on your back straight away. So if you're a new person going in as a solo game, you're hated so quickly because they don't know you're new.
Yeah, you just have to change your name to "I'm a new player."
Yeah.
99716 or whatever number you have to
Yeah,
add on
that's
to,
it.
to the back of it.
Well, that's why I ended up with this name, was Death Joker 199, because Death Joker was taken.
Why the Death
And
Joker?
Death Joker's 1 was taken. That actually came from League of Legends. League of Legends, when it very first came out, my friend, the way he told us to play the game was that you have a character, you level the character, and you keep using the same character in each game, but it's leveled up. So I thought of it as more like an RPG game.
Okay.
And so I was looking for all the characters, which one to pick, and I picked Shaco, who looks, I don't know if you know League of Legends.
Not really. I know of it,
So-
but that's about it.
He looks like a clown, but like a jester. So it's a jester, but imagine like a jester of death.
Okay.
So that's where the name came from. I picked him and then I put it as Death's Joker because he looks like a jester of death. So I put that together, and then I realized the game wasn't like that at all. So yeah, I was swapping characters all the time, but the name just stuck. I just left it.
Nice. And so you've just decided when you started Twitch, you're like, because I'm sure you had lots of options.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use the name Chaos for a long time because I was really into Warhammer. So it was Chaos Space Marines.
Okay.
So the nickname from like 12 years old was Chaos, and then it swapped to Death's Joker. So I just used that.
Nice. And why the 1999 again? Because my brain was...
Because it was taken. Yeah, because the name was taken. Death's Joker's already on it.
So why that number as opposed
because
to...
I was born in 1990.
Oh, okay.
So I went for 199.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's literally right. There's nothing overly special about the numbers. It was the name was taken. I would have just been Death's Joker, but the name was taken.
Okay.
And number 1 was taken as well. And after that, it just gets weird.
Yeah, you always have to figure out how do I do it. Do I put stars in there? Do I put some X's
exactly.
or?
But then it's
O's?
hard for people to find you, right? Like if you have like Death_Joker, it's so hard to find.
Right.
Like people can't be asked. Like we said, people's ADHD brains, you just can't be asked. They see you in a Steam game, in a game like DBD, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not typing that out."
Yeah.
It needs to be so simple because they can't be bothered to type things out. People are just lazy.
Yeah. But was Death...
somebody came in?
Yes. Was Deathstroker taken?
Oh, I've got to change it to that. Yeah, I will change it to that at some point. Don't worry. Don't you worry, Sunstrider.
Do it tomorrow, just for your birthday. Just for your
Yeah.
birthday. Although I think Twitch makes it where you have to you can't change it for 90 days after you've changed it or something.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
You'd have to be careful with that.
Yeah. Yeah, change it to the Deathstroker just for a bit.
That's ridiculous.
Do you watch Rick and Morty?
I've seen some Rick and Morty, but not a lot.
Okay.
It's not a go-to show for me.
It was just because you mentioned it on the con thing, so I didn't know if you said the voice acting stuff was there, and I thought, oh, he must have watched it then if he's focused on that for the famous people.
Yeah, I knew. Well, they were one of the really popular ones that people had that
Mhm.
were at the con. Were Rick and Morty. A lot of people were like, we came to see Rick and Morty. There were other people there. There was a lot of Star Wars there. Almost everybody from the Ahsoka series was there. All the main characters from that was on there, and Yeah, a lot of Star Wars stuff, and then there were like authors. One of the actors from the Shazam movie, one of the sisters. But
Oh,
she was
right,
the
yeah.
superhero, the adult version. The actress
Mhm.
for that was there, and I'm trying to think of all the other ones, but like the Rick and Morty voice actors kind of stood out for me. There's another old '80s, the guy that did Skeletor
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I think Megatron or one of the Transformers, like he's a super well known voice actor from that was there, and a bunch of comic book artists. So there
So
were
I
a lot of
assume they
people
get
there.
paid to be there. Do they get paid to come and?
I think yes and no. I think some of them do. Some of that do it for charity. Somebody's
Right.
like I have the time off to promote, and again, some of them it's promotion, right?
Yeah.
So if you're signing autographs, sometimes depending on the every convention's a little bit different. So like
Right.
if I'm super famous, if I'm George Takei was there,
hmm
you might come in and like you get your hotel comped for you, get your airfare paid for you, so your stuff is paid for you to come there,
Yeah.
but you're not getting paid for the event. There's not extra money in your pocket, but you get there
Mhm.
and then you charge, $20 per autograph,
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
something like
Yeah.
that. And for this one, I think what it was is because you had to pay for a VIP, whatever for each guest. So
Yeah.
to get in line, you had to have whatever for the certain VIPs. So I
Right.
think they get a little bit of the percentage of the VIP sales and whatnot. So, but this one in
Yeah.
particular was a charity for fighting cancer. So a lot of them do it pro bono. They're just like,
Yeah.
we come in and we donate our time for a good cause. So,
Yeah. It's a bit of a dick move to charge a showing fee at a charity event.
right.
That's a bit of a dick move.
So, but a lot of times, even charities have to pay. The people that
Yeah,
run
true,
charities
yeah.
they gotta get paid. They gotta pay their
Yeah.
bills somehow. So, hello, Happy. How are you doing? Welcome on in. We're just talking about whatever. We're talking about potluck. If there's anything you guys want to ask either of us today or want us to talk about, feel free to mention it in chat, and we're during the potluck segment, so we can talk about whatever the F we want to talk about.
That was the same with I went to a good food show in Birmingham. So it was like a catering event for like chefs and stuff to meet people.
Yeah.
And I met Gordon Ramsay there, and I met Jamie Oliver there, and Ainsley Harriott. And Gordon Ramsay, he was charging nothing. So you could go, he would have a chat with you for 5 minutes, he would sign something. Really nice guy, really pleasant. And then we went to Jamie Oliver's stall, and he wouldn't talk to you unless you brought a poster that was a minimum of £20.
Wow.
So you had to buy it just to go and talk to him and get it signed. So Gordon Ramsay's line was literally all the way around this massive arena. You'd have to wait in line for like an hour and a half just to talk to him for 5 minutes. Whereas Jamie Oliver's stall was like nothing. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
Because it's all students. Who's got 20, 30 pounds to pay for a poster?
Right. Exactly.
None of us were working.
I've heard that about Gordon Ramsay, like while he plays the big asshole on a lot of his shows, that he's actually like the super nice guy and he's like a sweetheart. Like everybody in the industry loves him. It's just everybody in like the restaurant industry
Yeah.
that's there for a show it doesn't necessarily love him.
Well, that's it. Yeah. He's got a persona to play on TV now, right? Like he can't now be Mr. Nice Guy. He's got to stay the asshole.
Yeah, unless it's
Whereas have you seen? Oh,
the Master Class for Kids, the Master
Yeah,
Chef, the Master Chef Junior. I love watching that because he is. I feel like that's the real him.
yes.
When you're
exactly.
watching that, and when like a kid's crying, he's like, here, let me help you, let me show you how it is, and he's super sweet, super nice, and like that's the Gordon Ramsay I like.
Well, he's got a I don't know if you've seen the show. There's one with him, Gino D'Acampo, and somebody else, a kind of Fred, somebody, a waiter, and they do a going out show. So they'll go to like India or something with the three of them, or to like Italy and go and do stupid adventures. I can't remember what it's called. It's on Netflix. But that's the side of him that I imagine that he's like, because he's just funny and he's just like a lad. He's just getting drunk with the guys and cooking and
I'll have to
just
check
doing
that out.
silly things. Yeah, it's really funny. I can't remember what it's called.
Somebody in the chat, if you find out what that show is, let us know. Get the link and share it, because
It's hilarious.
I want to
Like
see it.
if seeing him in a jovial, playful with those three, they just act like a group of guys. Going out to the pubs and getting drunk, and Gino's just crazy. Like Gino's just always trying to get drunk, and yeah, he's like, "Oh, we all sleep naked tonight," and yeah, they're going skinny dipping and wrestling together, and it's hilarious to watch.
That's funny. It seems like he isn't as mean on the UK shows either. He definitely plays more of an a-hole for the American audience. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Hell's Kitchen, he's 10 times worse than what he is on like UK MasterChef and all stuff like that. Like anything he's ever made an appearance on, he's very
I don't even
nice.
like Hell's Kitchen. I watched the show. I was like, I don't get this at all.
I just find it funny. Like it's a good representation of what happens in the kitchen behind closed doors, because that is definitely what it's like for me.
I like watching Kitchen Nightmares. Like I was never a chef, but I worked in dozens of restaurants in my life. Lots of restaurants. I've seen them. And then, of course, I've been in them where other people, friends and whatnot, are working and, go to hang out with them while they're getting done. And yeah, watching Kitchen Nightmares, I enjoyed that show because I also could see what was going on. And I'm like, oh, that's bad. Oh, and obviously it's a show, so they've got to edit it and they've got to make it look a certain way.
Yeah.
But, you can kind of see what's going on. And it was always fun to just be like, is this a business that's going to make it? Is it not going to make it? Can they help?
Yeah.
There's another one with a dude. He's this big jack guy. Forget his name that I love, and it's like Impossible, Restaurant Impossible with what the hell is the guy's name? He's just jacked. Restaurant Impossible.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Robert Irvin is his name.
All right.
And he looks like he should be in WWE. I know he's married to a wrestler that used to work in WWE, but he's just this big jack guy, and he's super intimidating. But I loved watching that show because he really is like Mr. Impossible. He just goes into a restaurant, and these are the problems, and you've got this much to do it. Can you fix this shit? And 9 times out of 10, he does. And there are times where they're like, they give them that pushback like they do in the Gordon Ramsay shows. They give him the pushback. He's like, listen, I'm here to fucking help you. If you don't want the help, I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need that. I don't need your lip. If you don't want the help, then we're leaving. Sort of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So
who's your first memory of a wrestler? Like you mentioned wrestler. Who's your oldest wrestler that you remember? Like when you started watching?
I started watching wrestling WrestleMania 3. That was around the era of my first one. The big Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant sort of feud.
Yeah.
I had, my stepdad was very alcoholic. I didn't really have a male role model, and my neighbor watched wrestling, and I thought it was really cool, and so I was hooked. So yeah, it was that era. It was the Junkyard Dog, Hulk Hogan, $1 Million Man, Macho Man. It was that era. I don't even think Macho Man was
just
super
a little bit before me. That's a little bit before. Like the Ultimate Warrior is probably the oldest one for me.
Okay.
I saw a little bit of Hulk Hogan more as he was getting older, and then it was like Dudley Boys. So like the Dudley Boys was
so
sort
you're
of
an
my era.
Attitude
Kane,
Era.
Undertaker.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've been
Triple
watching
H
it
when he first came out.
ever since the very beginning. Like, I've won contests for wrestling trivia.
Oh damn!
Because I've been watching it forever, and I did it for so many years. I wrestled for 5 to 7 years. I was trained.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I did a lot of that. So I love it. I watched for a while there. I was watching everything I could. AEW, which is a current product, is not as good as it once was for whatever reasons, but a lot of the products are really hot right now. A lot of great guys out there, a lot of great workers putting on phenomenal matches, but WWE right now is as good, if not better, than it was in the Attitude Era.
Oh damn! Yeah, I haven't watched for like 10 years probably.
Yeah, right now, because they got rid of Vince McMahon got ousted from the company. And now Hunter, Triple H, is running the company. He's running all of the creative and the stories. After the Attitude Era, it was like, okay, Monday after a pay-per-view, this guy is going to face this guy for the month. And they'd have every single fucking combination of that match leading up to the pay-per-view for the actual match. And then after that was over, nothing. It was just like a clean slate. They forget about whatever happened that month, and then everybody would start over. And it was really fucking irritating. But now it's like interwoven, and this guy's doing stuff with this guy, but this guy was there, but he's having a feud with this, and it's like this interwoven story, and they're all building everybody, and everybody on the roster is getting popular again. Because in the Attitude Era, it didn't matter who came out. You'd either cheer them or boom. Like. Yeah, not everybody was Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you were just as excited to see Val Venus as you were to see the Dudley Boys, as you were to see the Hardys, as you were to see Edge and Christian. No, everybody that came out was popular. Period.
Yeah,
from top to bottom, and it's like that again right now. So.
Yeah, it was stacked as hell back in the day.
Yeah, everybody wants to work on the product. So yeah.
What about like other sports? Like, are you into any physical sports like boxing, UFC?
You know,
or
I'm
anything?
not so much those. I used to watch a lot of like American baseball. I used to watch
Yeah.
quite a bit of that. But otherwise, no. And it's funny because I live in a state that is predominantly like a hockey state. Like everybody
right.
here loves hockey. You know, a lot of the schools I went to, they were all like, "Yeah, hockey is the sport of sports," and yeah, I enjoyed watching it,
Yeah.
but I don't go out of my way to watch it. And I enjoy watching baseball, but I don't go out of my way to watch it. Out of all the sports that are like popular in the States, I don't think if somebody offered to take me to a football game, I probably wouldn't go. But
Yeah.
but you know, I'll go watch a basketball game. I'd much prefer to play basketball than watch it. I'm not any good at it,
Mhm.
but it's just fun to play. I'd love to go see a soccer, you know, a non-American football.
Yeah.
I'd love to go see that. I enjoy watching that. I'd love to watch it live. Anything live, I'm usually pretty cool with watching. Other than golf, people in chat, you know what I'm talking about. I can't stand golf. Never could.
No.
Play,
I've never
watching.
played.
Yeah.
I'd probably play once just to try it, but I've never played.
But yeah, I'll watch baseball. I'll watch. You know, I'll watch a football if I don't have a choice. I'd watch Super Bowls where the Super Bowl would happen. I would
Yeah.
watch, you know, the commercials.
Yeah, fair.
But I'll go watch a hockey game. I'll go watch a baseball game. I'll go watch a soccer game. You know, whatever.
I did get quite into watching ice hockey for a while. It's not really a sport in England. It's not really like a famous sport. It's not really that common, but I watched it for a long time. I think it was mainly Canadian TV that was showing. But yeah, I watched a lot of ice hockey for a while. I really got into it. But I'm terrible on skates. I've been on ice like twice, and yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't have the ankles for it. And I think probably that's the reason that it was not so cool with me. One of my cousins when I grew up, he was big. He was a big player. He got scouted, and I think he got tryouts for the pro leagues. And he I don't know what happened if he didn't end up going or he didn't like it. I'll have to ask him next time I talk to him. But
I'd probably watch an American football. I used to watch a lot of American football, to be fair, but I don't like all the breaks and everything. So I think if I was to go to American watch, I'd probably want to go see a college game.
Yeah,
like it's a lot more, you know, action. Whereas I feel like if I went to watch a professional game, there's a hell of a lot of breaks and hanging around.
Yeah, unless you
know,
get one
an-
that's like
an 80-minute
non-televised.
game.
If you can find something that's like a
Yeah.
non-televised sort of situation, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'd want to see.
There's
It's-
a thing to be said about going to a live game. There's an atmosphere.
Mhm.
So like I wouldn't want to go to one, but I know that if somebody took me to one, I would have a good time. Like I know
Yeah.
I would, just because the atmosphere is really cool and fun.
Yeah. I went to a live UFC event at the O2 Arena, and oh my god, the arena was shaking. Like every time somebody came out, everyone was stomping their feet on the bleachers, and the whole place was shaking. Yeah, it was crazy. Great atmosphere.
I do
Very-
I do enjoy the concept of the UFC because it's got a very WWE feel, and I like MMA because like I was there. I used to love. What the hell was it? Was it UFC? It was UFC when it first started.
Yeah, yeah. it
Like
was
way back
UFC,
when
and
they
then
were like
did,
when
the
when the
Ultimate Fighter
idea
series.
was, all right, this guy is a master of jujitsu and this guy is a master of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
There was no MMA. It was
Mhm.
just, you know, we're gonna put these guys in. There are like 3 rules and that's it. Otherwise, there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
rules. And that was kind of what it was. And let's see which style of fighting is the best. You know,
Yeah.
when Hoist Gracie was like the
Mhm.
thing. So like I did back in the day, I did used to watch a lot of that. I'd watch a
Yeah.
lot of that because I thought it was so cool to see these different styles. But now everything's MMA where you get a little bit of everything. So now
Yeah.
it's like all the fights are, to me, all the fights are they all do the same shit. Right? It's all the same.
Yeah, you're basically watching weight class for what you want to see. So if you want to see more physical and like knockout style, you're going like higher up in the weights. Whereas if you want to see more technical and high flyer kind of thing, you go lower in the weights. Whereas there's not as much knockouts, but it's more entertaining and athletic. Whereas if you're trying to just look for knockout fights, you're going like, you know, light, heavyweight sort of fights.
Yeah.
But it's the same in like boxing, right? Like, you know,
Right.
you're going from like lightweight upwards if you want to see heavy hitters, and you're going from, you know, below if you want to see long rounds that are more technical.
But you're still watching it because, you know, boxing is, that's it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, that's
exactly.
what it is. Whereas MMA, it's like it's got a little bit of that, it's got a little bit of grapple, it's got a little of this. Whereas
Yeah.
back in the day, it's like, okay, Aikido was a very specific, they had very specific movements and way of doing it versus Taekwondo versus Judo. So that to me, there was so much of more of a difference that now it's just like, yes, the different weights is different, but it's still really the same. You throw punches and kicks when you can, and then when it gets down to grappling, it becomes a wrestling match, and then you throw punches and kicks when you can. And they all do it no matter what the weight class is. It's just sometimes you don't get long enough. You get hit and you're out because they're got a little bit more power behind there.
Yeah, I did judo for like 6 years.
Oh, yeah?
When I was younger. Yeah, I did judo. And then I wish it had been a more physical sport. I wish I would have been put into like boxing or kickboxing, because this was when I was like 13. So I was kind of placed into it. It was my best friend's brother was teaching judo. So it just kind of was an easy fit for us to go and do that with him. He still does it now. He just done a competition last week and won. He's 35. He still does it now.
Oh, nice. I was told I should have done like a Thai kickboxing because I have such freaking long legs.
Yeah.
That I should have done like a Thai kickboxing because my reach was good and I had good legs for it. That's what I was told. You have good legs for Thai kickboxing.
I wish I would have done something like that. Like I wish I would have done like kickboxing.
Muay Thai, I think it's called Muay Thai.
Yeah, Muay Thai, something like that.
Yeah. Renfield says Gordon Ramsay in Matilda and the Ramsay Bunch, a show about his daughter Tilly. She does cooking and her father always embarrasses her every episode. I do like some of the shit, although she embarrasses him a lot. She always gets him. She trolls him a lot.
Yeah. She's on a Hell's Kitchen, I think. I think her 16th birthday is on there, or 18th birthday. He does on there, yeah.
Nice. Sunstrider says, I can't stand basketball. Those squeaky shoes drive me crazy.
I've never watched a basketball game.
Really? They can be fun. They can be fun because the pros, like, if there's not a lot of like pauses, where they're like, oh, foul, this, that. If it's just like them doing shit, it's really good.
Yeah.
If you really want to see something fun, Harlem Globetrotters are a lot of fun, and they're kind of a staged show of basketball. They always have been, but they're always entertaining as hell, and they still play the rules of the game. There's just shenanigans involved.
Right.
Does anybody remember? Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just saying, I've never really been that. Basketball's not huge in England. We have you play it in school, but it's a very, like, you either do or you don't. It's not really forced on everyone. Like, everyone's forced to play football. Everyone's forced to play rugby. Our kind of baseball, which is rounders, like our kids' version of baseball.
But
it's not really
cricket.
aligned.
Isn't cricket kind of like baseball?
Cricket, kind of. We play cricket a little bit, but again, it's not really pursued. Like teams, the school will normally have like a football team, a rugby team, but that's it. Like the tennis and everything else is just played for the sake of playing, but it's not really pushed.
Yeah.
Whereas football and rugby is pushed for you to play other schools and go cross country, maybe go county and stuff like that.
I'm surprised rugby isn't more of a thing over here, and maybe it's just because it's overshadowed by American football.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because they're quite similar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I just always figured that would be something a little bit, and maybe that's how American football came about. That was a evolution of rugby.
I don't know. I played rugby for a while as well because I was quite stacked in school. Like I was very tall in school, so I was already 5 foot something when I was in high school. So I kind of got pushed into playing rugby, and I was in like the central. I don't know if you've ever seen a rugby game, like a scrum half, when everyone gets together on each side and you're kind of locking in the middle. That's where I was, in the middle.
Okay, I've seen it, but I didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, it's quite brutal in schools, to be fair, because everyone's got studded shoes and everyone's just kicking you in the legs, standing on your legs. Like every game, I would come home covered in blood. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Like I only done it for about a year. Like, and then I had so many concussions. I was like, I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Very physical.
Let's see. Renfield wants to know if anybody remembers the A-Teams TV series. Yep, I do.
Yeah, I remember it.
Good
I was
show.
young though. I was probably like 7 when I was watching that, but yeah, I remember it.
I was young, but I wasn't that young because we've already established we've got a few years between us, just a few.
You're only slightly older than me.
Only slightly. Only a small child's worth of age difference.
Exactly.
Not quite high school, but I'm getting there. Redneck's got a yellow belt in judo.
Nice. I can't even remember what my belt. I think what the hell was I, a brown belt? I can't even remember what I was, to be honest. It was that long ago. It was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a brown belt that's used to hold up my pants.
Yeah. I know my friend was a He was a 2-tab black belt when he was like 16. But that was the guy whose brother taught judo.
Red says he's seen the Globetrotters when he was little. He walked past one of them and he was really tall. Walked past one of them and he was really tall. Sunstrider says basketball exploded here in the 90s. Yeah, 90s was a big sports in general. I think exploded in the 90s. Whether it was basketball over here, basketball and baseball for sure. I remember exploding huge in the 90s, and I think part of that had to do with like the trading cards. Because trading cards, baseball and basketball trading cards got super huge in America in the 90s. And so, of course, you watch the sport and that correlated with the cards that you wanted to collect and whatnot. So Renfield was in WWE back in the old days. Yes, he was. Well, he was. He just kind of was a celebrity guest. He did a couple things in there. He wasn't actually a wrestler, and he wasn't any good. And they kind of had to work around him. And yeah, he is very lucky because Roddy Piper hated his guts and really wanted to just hurt him in the ring and make him look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And but he also wanted to get paid. So
yeah, there you go.
So yeah.
God, he was a big hit as well.
Mr. T?
No, Piper.
Piper? Yeah, Piper was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved the hell
He was huge. My mum loved him. She loved Shawn Michaels as well. That's the only person she should ever talk about, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Well,
but Shawn Michaels was going for a long time, though, to be fair.
He was out with injury, and then he was better, and like arguably one of the best in ring. Like when he was, even when he wasn't in his best, every match he had was amazing.
Yeah.
And now he runs NXT, and he's like the head of creative and the head of NXT for WWE right now, and training all of them, and he's like their head trainer. And you can't ask for a better person to teach people how to do what they do than the guy who's probably who's one of the greatest who's ever done it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, they got a great team there, and I'm I just get stoked every time wrestling's on right now, and I'm like, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll pull it up and I'm gonna watch the replay of the entire thing tomorrow morning. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. It's usually my breakfast is that, or I watch the one or two streamers that are on in the morning. When I'm having breakfast. So
that's a weird part of the day for me. Like today I was awake at like 2 p.m. and there was just nobody on because I don't follow anyone that streams during the daytime. So I was just finding random people to watch. Hardly anyone streams.
I'm like 2 p.m. your time is, let's see, there's a 6 hour difference. So
is that like 8 a.m., 10 a.m.?
Yeah, 2, so that would go, let's see.
8.
1, noon, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. That'd be 6 a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m. over here. Yeah, nobody's on. Nobody's on at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
I mean, there are, but nobody from our communities.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. From our community, there's people on, but people that I've never watched or never spoke to in years that I randomly followed 2 years ago.
Right. Sure.
Like, there's no one from this community that streams during my daytime.
Yeah. I would say I'd fix that, but I'm not getting up that early.
No, exactly.
Why is the rum always
Why is the rum gone? Thank you, Renfield, for the why is the rum gone.
To be fair, I think if I streamed full time, I would do it earlier. Like, I definitely wouldn't keep the same schedule that I have now.
Yeah.
Because now it's sort of like 8 p.m. my time until 4 a.m., 5 a.m. my time. So because I work nights, so it just works with the pattern that I keep.
Yeah.
But I think if I did it full time, I'd probably start at like 5 p.m. and finish at like 1 a.m., something like that.
Yeah, that's roughly around where like myself and Octavius stand on those times, except for a couple. This show is a little bit later, and the tabletop role playing show is a little bit later. But otherwise, that's roughly kind of where I sit as well.
But it works nicely for like the American crowd. I think a solid amount of the people that I speak to are American, so it works nicely with their time. Otherwise, if I make it much earlier, then it's sort of when everyone's at work,
Right. Yeah, it's really hard because and then there's a thing of like, okay, this is my audience. If I change the time, now that audience can't make it, so do I shift it? So I see a lot of that, now later when I'm doing a show like this or doing a show like our tabletop role playing, like I can sometimes see the shift in numbers.
Yeah.
From the daytime streams down to that, and of course the content, what you're putting out, because you're mostly doing Dead by Daylight. Once in a while, you do a Party Animals or a Fall Guys or something like that. Do you see that? I know our potluck's over, but do you see that as a shift?
I mean, definitely, yeah. It was happening last week. I started playing the First Descendant. The first couple of times I played it, it sort of stayed the same.
Yeah.
And the regular people would come by and just chat, and they were chatting about a different game. But by like the third time, it was like halved. You know, like a lot of people that would come in and talk about DBD wasn't coming in because we wasn't playing DBD.
Right.
So definitely a big shift with swapping games and stuff.
I noticed that about a year or two ago too, like, because we have a lot of Dead by Daylight community members, a lot.
Yeah.
And I could tell if I'd go a week, you know, I'd play Dead by Daylight 2 or 3 times that week, and I would literally see that, and then 2 weeks later I'd switch to something else, and nobody's there. Just none of those people, because it was such a huge Dead by Daylight community. But I get bored of games rather quickly. And especially when Dead by Daylight can be amazing and has an awesome community, but it also can be full of a lot of trolly assholes.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you can get that a lot. Like, you can spend an entire day getting nothing but trolly flashlighters whose whole goal is just to piss you off with flashlights, and that's it, you know. So
yeah, people can be quite toxic in DBD. Like, I know definitely more survivor side over killer side. Like, I think probably I've had 3 or 4 killers lifetime come and talk shit after a game if I'm playing Survivor. Very rare. But Survivor's almost every day. Like, if I play killer almost every single day, somebody will come in and blame you for them losing.
Yeah.
Like, they're so toxic.
Crazy.
Yeah. People say wild shit as well. It's just half the stuff I just laugh at. But once you've had it 6 or 7 times in one stream, it gets rather annoying.
It does, yeah. And that was part of my problem too. Like, cause playing by myself, like, if I'm gonna play by myself, I'm gonna play as a killer, right? Because it's not a team thing. And,
exactly.
You know, and unless you have, you know, a good full team of stuff in a community, then, you know, the game might not be as fun. So
yeah.
So yeah, and I ended up playing a lot more killer than player, and I have to change. So the controls for me, I have a hard time as a survivor looking over my shoulder on mouse and keyboard.
Right.
So trying to look that way while I'm running that way, I can't do it. With a controller, I can do it super easily. Mouse and keyboard, I can't. But because you're in first person mode with a killer, I'm way better on the mouse and keyboard, so I have to switch back and forth. So what do you got going on? What do you got plans coming up? You got your birthday stream tomorrow, right?
Yeah, like streaming wise, it's kind of all up in the air at the moment for the next 2 weeks. I've got 2 weeks off work now for my birthday, but I've got so much stuff to do at the house because we've just moved in like 4 months ago. So we just finished. The house is all done. We've just had a nightmare of a pool in the back garden. We brought a pool for the kids, but it's quite a large pool. It's 6 meters by 6 meters, so quite big.
Yeah.
And it's about 1.5 meters tall, so it's quite a large pool. But we put it up. Didn't realize the ground had to be level, so then it was tilty as hell.
Oh yeah.
So we had to get it has 30,000 liters of water in there, so we had to get all the water back out, buy slabs, re-slab the whole pavement so it's standing, you know, central.
Flat.
Yeah, put it back up, and now it's up and running again. So all that's been done. Now we've got to like do the garden, the hedge, and all that. So it's an absolute nightmare over the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to try and stream as much as I physically can. But all the house stuff needs to get done in the next 2 weeks. So I just don't have time off work. So
what you do is you stream
tomorrow.
You stream doing the yard work.
Right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Just take a camera around with me.
Yeah, just set up a little tripod and have it. They have those little things that I keep seeing on my TikTok where it will fall, where the camera will automatically follow you around. So you just set that up and you do your yard work and you have some earbuds in, so the voice to text tells you what the chat's saying while you're working. You're good to go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I might think about that. That's actually not bad. I'll do it for the pool stream as well. You know, we'll get a little pool stream.
Yeah, get a little hot tub.
But we've got the birthday stream today. Yeah, technically today, probably in about 12, 14 hours from now. I'm gonna go and eat after this and then sleep. So then whenever I wake up, we'll start and we'll get drunk and play some DBD and, you know, just hang out with the guys, just have a nice chill stream where I hopefully don't end up throwing up.
Are you doing anything special? Are you doing any like special redeems or?
We might do is I'm thinking about adding some stuff in after this game, after this is done. I'm thinking about adding some stuff in, but I don't know how much time I've got to set up like I would normally. Normally I'd set up a whole new screen, a whole new overlay, and like you have redeems and stuff on there, but I don't know how far I'm going to go with that.
Okay. And you're
I might do a couple
you're-
of little things.
There's discussions of another 1v1 tournament down the road at some point.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing the season 2, but it just depends on where we're going. You know, I haven't really decided what route we're going down, if we're going to stick with the 1v1s or if we're just going to sack that off and start on something else on YouTube side, because I need something that I can put up on video for YouTube as
Right.
well, because I do plan on streaming on all the platforms at the same time. I just need to get it all set up. So yeah, it needs to be something that's kind of, you know, good enough that I can put over there, but I don't know if it's going to be the 1v1s.
Okay. Fair enough. Cool.
What about yourself? What you got planned up?
Oh, this isn't about me. It's about you. No,
Yeah.
we're going to be doing Once Human this week. Some more of that. I've got Seppi and Mark from Fight in a Box Games. They're going to come back. They've got their Kickstarter for their End of the Line second edition game. We did a
nice.
demo of that, and they're going to be coming back on Thursday. And we're going to be joined by Pixelnix is going to return to play the game, and we're also going to be joined by Classic Sam, who is a D&D interview streamer, and Gerald Ford, who is from the Corner of Story and Game podcast. They're going to join us to demo Fight in a Box Games End of the Line on the last day of their Kickstarter. So we're going to be doing that
Nice.
and some tabletop role playing, the regular stuff, and of course Once Human. So
Yeah, how are you finding Once Human?
I
I've been
love
seeing a
Once
lot of
Human.
people
I
playing
am
that.
I love it. It's an amazing game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. No game is perfect. There's no perfect game in the world. It's got some things that they've got to deal with, but it's a new game, so hopefully they add some stuff, and it's completely free. It's not pay to win.
Nice.
So yeah, it's awesome. Almost all of their monetization is from cosmetics.
Oh, nice.
Because you have a base you can build, so you can cosmetic your base build. You can cosmetic your character. You have vehicles
Yeah.
you can build, so you can cosmetic your that. They have stickers you can put on your weapons and vehicles that you can move around, so you can cosmetic that. Outfits, just everything. They've got so much cosmetic capabilities that'll keep them going for quite a while. So
Which is how it should be, to be fair, rather than
It
paying
is.
to win it a game.
It
The
is.
first Descendant I've been playing, and it's just frustrating trying to grind everything. But I'm not paying like £80 for a character. It's ridiculous.
right, yeah, I agree. Is there anybody you'd like to raid?
God, the funny thing is, the first person I just saw on the list as well was you. The first one my eye went to was you.
Bing.
The only other person from community wise is Miss Sweets. She's really the only other.
You want to
we've
put
got
that?
Steps.
You want to put that name? DM me the name on Discord,
Sure.
and we'll go over there and we'll raid that. Pull them up here.
Yeah, where are we? Oh, hold on. Eyesight's messed up. There we go.
And yes, Renfield, I am looking forward to Deadpool.
Ooh.
Deadpool Wolverine. I'm very looking forward to that. I'm very curious if Spider-Man's going to be in there after this last trailer. I don't know. Have you seen the new trailer? Are you a Deadpool Wolverine fan?
I like Wolverine, like Deadpool. Haven't seen the trailer though.
Okay. Well, the end of the new trailer shows them in a car. Wolverine's driving the car, and he's irritated because he's fucking Wolverine. And Deadpool's sitting there in the background going, pew, 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 pew. And Wolverine's like, fucking stop it. It wasn't that cool. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? So will Spider-Man make a
Nice.
cameo? Any of them? I don't fucking care which one it is. So yeah, very, very excited to see it. Hopefully it's good. I'm more excited for Beetlejuice 2. We didn't even ask, do you want to see
Yeah.
Beetlejuice as a character in Dead by Daylight? We forgot.
I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having Beetlejuice the character. That'd be interesting. I don't really understand the whole Lara Croft concept. I don't really know why they brought Lara Croft in, but hey, it doesn't really strike me as a horror genre.
I mean, don't understand why they did the PUBG thing either, but here we are.
Yeah, there you go.
All
Questionable decisions. I wish
Um,
they'd bring Predator in though. We've got Alien. I wish they'd bring Predator,
Predator would be awesome.
in.
Are you sure Miss Sweets is on? She must have just got offline.
Yeah, you're right. She just went off my list.
Jesus criminy.
Then yeah, just ping whoever. Yeah, ping whoever you want, mate.
Okay, we'll see. Do I have anybody playing DBD right now?
Yeah, she's literally just gone off my list.
Oh, you know what? Mango Vibe is playing. Do you know Mango Vibe or Real Care? Real Care's on. We all know Real Care. At least I know.
Thank you, Strider. Appreciate it.
We'll do Real Care Bear. Real Care Bear. Thank you, Sunstrider, for being here. I appreciate you. And of course, Death Joker, I thank you for being here and being part of this. It's been a blast. Hopefully you've had a good time. And,
Yeah, no problem. It's been good fun.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hope you have many, many more, and I hope you have nothing but success. Everybody make sure to go and hang out tomorrow with Death Joker during his birthday stream, and make sure he drinks all the drinks. What is it like every 5 subs is every 5 bomb is a shot?
Yeah, it's I think we've got to set as every 5 subs, 1,000 bits or £10 donation is we're going to be shooting up.
So there you go. Shoot your shots with Death Joker tomorrow. Some Dead by Daylight and a lot of drinking, and see if you can get him
we're going to get hammered
to drop all of his lunch. So
it's going to get messy tomorrow.
All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. You can use my raid emotes, use his raid emotes, use anybody's raid emotes. Just make sure your voice is heard. In a Real Kara stream, she is playing Killer in Dead by Daylight. We will see you guys tomorrow for some Once Human. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.